A lot of amazing moments came out of this tourney, from the sheer spectacle of 200 aircraft flying out of the warp gate, to the exhilaration of a last-moment base resecure. These are the top 5 plays from 2014's Server Smash tournament. We start off in the second week, with Cobalt facing Connery in the continent of Amerish. NC Arsenal is a linchpin 3 capture point base that starts off neutral in the north of the map. Winning the opening fight here gives a server a distinct advantage over the top 3 lanes, and so both servers had some impressive plays to try and gain an edge. Connery dropped an anti-vehicle squad out of ejection seat sides to lay mines on the road and set up a Lancer nest, both of which played havoc with Cobalt's large armor pull from Sungray Westgate. In the end, Cobalt proved more tenacious, slowly pushing Connery's anti-armor players off their hills, and getting a crucial spawn sunderer tucked in behind the buildings to allow fast respawns.
Connery is trying to get them A. Cobalt just needs to hold on for 20 seconds. This is huge. The fact is Connery needs to get this point and they can stall this base out so much longer. Cobalt gets it. It is a massive positional play in the north. And it doesn't look like there's enough infantry for Connery. Cobalt gets the base.
Sometimes bases are won after a single enemy mistake. Other times it takes more than a bit of luck turning your way. Miller almost gave away Tumas tech plant for free after failing to repair the blown SCU generator when capping the base early in their match against Emerald. They redeployed forces for a last-minute resecure of the SCU room to try and avoid disaster, but Emerald moved behind them back onto the point for a last-minute showdown.
25 seconds to go. Here comes Miller up the balcony. Here come the Maxes. Most of the consumables have already been used by these Emerald forces. 19 seconds to go. Miller's going up to the balcony. Why are those Maxes going up to the balcony? With 10 seconds to go, you need to get on the capture point, son. What's going on? 10 seconds. 9. What is Miller doing? Get on the point. Okay, here finally they're on the point, but 3 seconds to go. There's too many Emeralds. Is Emerald going to get the base? 1 second to go. Emerald gets the base. I do not believe it. That was a huge blunder by Miller. What were they doing? They had this base.
Server Smash victories often come down to the appropriate use of force at the right base and the right time in the game. The next top play is a classic example of feinting for one base and capturing another in return when the enemy moves to counter. Connery has a well-known affinity for attacking tech plants, and it looked like it was in effect again halfway through their match with Miller. However, Connery quickly redistributed their players when Miller came in force to kick them out of the tech plant, and wound up capturing Waterson's Redemption, their real objective, practically without a fight.
Oh, look at that. There's 48 to 96 new conglomerate Miller forces at the tech plant. That is almost criminal. There's so many NC that is a tech plant, and what's going on Waterson's Redemption? They've lost it. 20 seconds. I do not see how the Miller force can save Waterson's Redemption. They need to get 2 capture points in the next 15 seconds. They're just watching all the angles as they're coming at the spawn rooms. And that's it. Well done to Connery. They have managed to take Waterson's Redemption.
Emerald has become known in their brief time together in Server Smash as a server with many different tactics at their disposal. One both Emerald teams are great at is small squad harassment action. In the Emerald vs Cobalt match on Ezimir, a squad of only 7 people from the D117 outfit were absolutely tenacious in their dedication to keep Matherson's Triumph under contention against a much larger force. While Emerald never captured the base, keeping the timer moving in their direction prevented Cobalt from pushing into the weak Rime Analytics lane and deep into enemy territory. This constant harassment by a very small group of players forced Cobalt to spend resources and large amounts of troops against a small squad, and was a substantial reason Emerald won the match.
Okay, now they've spawned in. I was going to say the numbers were kind of lying the situation. Here comes the Galaxies, but there's still an Emerald Air Force in the skies. Oh, but there comes Cobalt's Air Force as well.
This is an incredibly dangerous
It's a critical amount of seconds. It gets exponentially quick at the very, very end. Okay, it's back to 2 minutes 40, but they have to hold on to the A point. Okay, look at the number of reinforcements that are coming on the map. That is a very, very large force of Cobalt's NC now here on the base. And okay, it was close, but I do not see... No, that's it, it's game over.
The number 1 play for the Server Smash tournament was part of a furious assault that Miller engineered in the middle of their final tournament match against Cobalt. An outnumbered Miller force manages to capture Gurney Dam despite having no secure spawns and being constantly hammered by Cobalt Air. and then moments later saves their ownership of construction site Beta, with only a second to spare.
Gurney Dam, 20 seconds to go. Even with air support, it looks like Miller's gonna get this.
Miller is just now flipping the point at Beta.
Really? Oh wow, we're coming there as soon as the space flips.
Cobalt has...
Wow, Miller takes Gurney Dam. I can't believe it. Okay, we're at construction Beta. Oh, 15 seconds to go, and it looks like this is going to be a Cobalt base. What's all the lightnings doing? You're not kidding! What the hell?
Yeah, there's a lot of fighting on the point. If Miller can just get more people in here...
Oh, it's flipping again?
Taking out the shotgun harasser, though.
Oh, okay, it's res grenade ward's going off. It's so close. Miller needs to get bodies on the floor. The Cobalt still has control of the capture point. Is this Sunder going to come in? Are people going to spawn the Sunder? Are they on the point? Miller's back on the point again. It's razor close. I think Miller might have just gotten away with it. Alright, let me show you all these vehicles, guys. What is going on here? I heard you needed some... It's like the Lightning sales depot.
Unfortunately, Miller's aggression wasn't enough to prevail in the game, but their constant assaults kept Cobalt guessing late into the match, making for one of the closest and most back-and-forth server smashes ever.
Planetside Battles on the Jaeger server present the Championship Battle! Simulcast on the Planetside 2 channel. Commentary provided by Farah and Redolent. Additional casting provided by Lanzer. Order maintained by the Fun Police led by Legolas. Real-time stats provided by Maelstrom. The referee for this battle is Justicia. And now, Twitch viewers and hardcore gamers, hold on to your frame rate! 2 hours of explosions and lasers in the mountains of Amerish for the honor of their servers and a claim to the title of Battalion Class Cannon Server of the Northern Hemisphere. In the Western Warp Gate, with 288 players from 27 outfits, a record of 2-1, looking for revenge, led by Halo Spud from the F1S7 outfit, wearing purple spandex and fighting for Vanu, Cobalt Thunder! In the Eastern Warp Gate, with 288 players from over 18 outfits, going undefeated through the round robin, led by Roy Awesome from the Test outfit, clad in blue armor and fighting for freedom, Emerald United!
Hello everyone, and welcome to our final of Server Smash. It's another wonderful introduction there by Poonanners. I am your main cast today, Far, as introduced by Poonanners, and with me today is...
I am Redolent, and I am really looking forward to the culmination of our Server Smash tournament. This is going to be a really good game today.
So, as Nanos did mention, today we have our two kind of finalists. Emerald is top dogs and Cobalt is second placers. So today we are playing on Amerish, the championship. The group winner, Emerald, were to pick what continent they wanted, and then they got to choose either faction or warp gate. So in the end, Emerald chose Amerish, and they chose New Conglomerate. Do you know why they chose New Conglomerate, Redolent? I heard about this.
I didn't hear the specific reasons. I mean, you have to understand with Emerald, I don't know how much you can believe when they tell you.
This is true. This is all head games and meta and mind games. The rumor I heard was that Cobalt's Air Force is always played off NC and they like their Reavers, so that Emerald deliberately went NCs to deny them Reavers. That's what we'll ask them about in the interview section, if that's legit or not. Right. But anyway, today we'll just go over our kind of who we are, teams and all that. The rules today are quite simple. It's a territory control alert like all previous server smashes. 2 servers enter, 1 server leaves. Capture as much territory as you possibly can within the 2-hour time limit. There's no overtime. At the end of the 2 hours, the match referee, that being Justicia, will call out what the scores are at the end of the time and who the winner of the game is. Team as mentioned today by Punards at the start. I'm the main caster with Fire. Co-casting with me today is Redolent. The Maelstrom is providing statistics. That's Planetside 2 alerts. Justicia is our game referee. Lanzer will also be providing kind of air coverage and sort of kind of vehicle plays as they go on throughout the map today. So we've got the team out the way. Right, so that's that. So today, finals. We've been waiting forward to this for like 2 months now or something, haven't we? We're finally here. I'm really pumped for this.
I think this is going to be a good game. You have two of the best servers and the best tactics, and you have two completely different ways of going about playing Server Smash. You have Emerald, which is basically just constant aggression, constant make sure you have people on the point. It doesn't matter how you get there, it doesn't matter what class they are, just get on the point, get on the point, get on the point. And you have Cobalt, which has a really highly structured, we want air, we want different people doing different things, we want platoons going in certain ways, and they really rely a lot on their air to move around and take out stuff. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see both of these two strategies for going after this game today.
We're just getting our server reps now, and when they're in the channel, we'll go and move for an interview. I don't know if you can maybe go pester someone, Redolent, see whether or not we can get the guys up. But in the meantime, so today is Amerish. We played this in our second round. Cobalt is, well, I should say...
Decision all call. Can the reps for interviews please make it to the interview channel up top? Thanks.
There you go. So awesome. Right, we'll just jump to the interview channel and we'll ask. I have got some of your questions from Twitch chat. I tried to kind of stay within kosher grounds. Hello guys, how are you all doing? Are we all ready for the finals?
Hey, yes,
Yes.
we're ready.
Yes. Okay. So got the usual questions. How you guys feeling? How you doing? I mean, you know, it's the finals, so well to, you know, Emerald. You guys top dogs. How do you feel about being undefeated so far?
Oh, absolute confidence. I mean, how could we not come into the final without confidence? Although Cobalt are a pretty strong team, otherwise they wouldn't make the final, so anything can happen.
And your faction choices today, you chose Amerish between a choice of Amerish and Esmir because, you know, you already played on... no, it was between Austin and Esmir. Regardless, you picked Amerish as the continent today. Why did you pick Vanu? Any reason, Lemgar?
Oh, you said Vanu. We're NC, are we not?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
My point is that you picked NC and Cobalt picked Vanu. So, I mean, is that how it went down? So, like, was there any reason behind that? Were you trying to play head games with Cobalt?
Well, they haven't played as VS for a really long time, so any advantage you can have is an advantage, right? But also, NC have a very strong ESF with the Reaver. We can fly to places quicker than they can. You can see a little bit on the ground game, but I think we have the teamwork to compensate for that. And I guess passionate, you know, playing for Cobalt, playing Vanu. You never really played Vanu, as Lemgar just said. How are you feeling about that? You know, you love yourself some Orion?
Well, we still had to pick between VS and TR, so...
and you didn't pick Mosquitoes. Why didn't you pick the Banshee? Why no Banshee?
Because, to be honest, every time we... in this tournament, we lost all coin tosses, and Cobalt always picked the faction first, and it was VS as a faction, and we never get to play VS. So
Just thought we'd play VS.
We have the choice. We finally get to pick VS, and we are super happy with it.
You had a little bit of pining for the pew pew zap zap.
Well, you're late. This actually brings me into some of the questions. What with the recent changes, specifically PPA spam and the remechanics of the PPA on harassers and mag riders, is that going to change your usage of it at all, or do you still feel it's a useful weapon?
It's different. It's more of a close range than it used to be. But we picked VS still because the PPA, the light PPA for the site is still the same. It hasn't been changed, and it's still a very good ammo capacity weapon. So you can sustain your fire for a very, very long time in opposition to the Banshee, for example. And Cobalt is very known to have a quite good air force, so we're gonna make the best out of this.
Have you been watching Emerald's Air Force recently in the first games? Because you met Emerald in the first game, is that correct? Yeah, in the round 1. So since then, we've seen Emerald's air game improve in round 2 and round 3. Does that give you any cause for concern for today?
Not really, to be honest.
You heard it first. He said we'll wipe them from the skies. There you go.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see that, obviously, but it doesn't really concern us, to be honest. We have the best pilots in the world, probably, on Cobalt, and so...
Do they do those flying jump out bails, throw C4, Rendzuk, get back inside, fly away maneuvers?
We practice for that, especially for this match.
Especially, right, I expect to find one of them. Okay, fair enough.
Now, one of the things, he mentioned changes. One of the things that's going to affect everyone in this match is the recent changes to AV grenades. Have you guys changed your tactics to that? Have you planned a different loadouts? How do you think that's going to affect the match?
I'll let you start, Lemgar.
Well, obviously, everyone's been practicing, but they haven't had much time to practice. VS have some maybe advantages with the lasher. You can range into a room and splash a little bit, so we expect to see a lot of that. There are other toys, there are different methods, but certainly whoever can adapt to that will win this match.
And I guess you picked Amerish, right? So we know why the faction was kind of picked. Is there something about Amerish that you like, that Emerald feels at home with? Is there anything particular, maybe? The number of the lanes, or the way, or the flow out, or just the kind of just not like the cold?
Is this to Emerald?
Yeah, to Emerald.
Well, Pizza, what are your thoughts?
I'm pretty sure that Roy Awesome just got really hammered and...
When eeny, miny, mo?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't to do with the absolute mind-bending number of lanes that Hossin can turn into, no?
That probably had a factor into it, but I'm pretty sure that they just made a random choice, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Hossin is always going to be complicated. There haven't been too many smashes on it, and people are still trying to work it out. So you can't do as much revision on it. Esamir itself is there's less flexibility with the mountains to hide behind things. So with your air, if you have a really strong air faction, which we do as NC, you've got the advantage of playing with the continent a lot more than you could with Esamir.
Right. And do you have a question, Redmond? Because I've got another one coming up.
No, go ahead.
So the other one is, we talked about the PPA spam. Another recent revision that's come in the latest patch notes is the changes to the anti-vehicle grenade. So grenade spam is not going to be reduced. It'll still be as prevalent, but how do you feel that comes into maxes? Because I've felt in live server play, maxes are probably still being pulled in the same numbers, but the effectiveness of anti-vehicle grenades being a sort of area of effect 10-meter weapon that you just throw in a building and it just kills maxes isn't there as much. So, I mean, do you guys feel that maxes will be more effective this time round, or do you need to be more skillful with your aiming to get that kind of sticky grenade clip-on with AV-nade? For either of you guys?
Well, from an Emerald perspective, we've seen a lot of maxes dying very quickly on live, so yes, it's going to be an issue, but the heavies have to make a big decision when they're charging into that point. They don't know if there will be lots of maxes, or maybe there'll just be heavies in there. There might be a surprise, might be saving resources, so they need to make the decisions between conks or AV nades.
Right, yeah. And Passionate, do you have a thought about this?
This change is, I think it brings more diversity into the game. So, like Lemgar said, can...
greater numbers of, like, say, conk grenades, or maybe even frag grenades from heavies, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll have more surprises to what you're facing. You're not necessarily going to face more maxes. It's going to be different. There's going to be more variety to what you can do.
It's going to come down to player skill. Unlike before with AV nades, it doesn't take much skill to throw 4 of them into a room, but now you've got to actually shoot people. So whoever can more effectively shoot and keep people down, I think, will be the deciding force.
Right. I guess I got 2 more questions, Ryland. Do you want to ask anything?
I'm interested to see, Emerald for a long time didn't really have a large air force, and Cobalt has been known for its air force. That's changed. Emerald's been able to get some air up there and been fighting. Can you guys give us maybe a hint, both servers, if we can expect some big air plays today?
I'll let Cobalt go first.
So about the air, we didn't do something different today, but we certainly learned that air doesn't do everything, and it doesn't it doesn't make you win the match necessarily. We learned that from Emerald. So there's not going to be a big change to what we did in the past. It's just going to be, it's going to be the usual Cobalt in the air.
Yeah, from an Emerald perspective, I think when we first faced Cobalt, and it is worth saying actually, the team playing Cobalt today on Infantry is not the same team that played them in the actual championship. However, the air is pretty much the same, although people come and go. But in that first game, we were playing as VS, and they were the Reaver. Now it's the other way around, so let's have a good, interesting review of how the pilots do with the different.
So, who's got the most cosmetics on their Air Force?
You want me to answer that, Lim?
Go ahead.
We've actually been going through, and Emerald is known for being very frivolous as far as spending our money, and we've also come up with another stupid idea, which is we have one person who has gone through and bought an American flag decal, and has set it for every single outfit we have, so you can look forward to seeing Old Glory flying over.
Oh wow, that's dedication right there.
Yeah. We don't have the European flag, do we?
I don't know. I think there is the EU flags there. Yeah, it's a bit late now, but you know, you can always got 2 hours to put it on.
You gotta organise that counterplay.
Yeah. So there was a question in Twitch chat with regards to faction or server lore. Has that affected your preparation at all? I mean, that's kind of meh, but I mean, like, for example, Emerald, you guys are playing NC today. So has freedom affected your decision and judgment call today?
I'll probably say this. I mean, Lem, do you want to go ahead and answer this?
You go first.
Right. Actually, on Emerald, the dominant faction primarily is VS, who usually are known as the tryhard faction, but I think we just generally pick NC because it's a nice, relaxing, I guess, departure from the usual spandex-filled crap of life. Excuse my language. Lem, you have anything?
Yeah, I've seen the population shift from being very VS heavy, although it coincided with the PPA nerf. And in the last week on Emerald, there's been a lot of NC. So I'm pretty sure everyone has been training pretty hard for this. As to why they would prefer NC over VS, well, we could debate this one for 3 hours, and if not longer. So there are definitely advantages to either VS or NC. Obviously, people don't play TR too much in Smash. I don't know why. I've always tried to debate to go for TR, but it never really seems to get through the voting system. But I have absolute confidence as playing as NC. So as well, Cobalt with VS is very strong. As long as they play to those strengths, they'll be great. But if they try and play VS like their NC and go close quarters instead of range, they're going to lose. So they need to get used to how to adapt to that because they haven't done it for a while.
So Passionate, is Vanu with you?
Yeah, definitely. The sexiness of the spandex is everywhere in Cobalt.
Okay. I guess my last question before I pass to Redlin is, do you have a lucky charm with you today? Is there anything special that Emerald's doing? Are you wearing your little crown tiaras, all your players?
We've got Roy Awesome at the end.
Okay. Are you going to disown him if he doesn't get 70%?
Yes.
Okay. And Passionate, yeah, what about yourself? Do you have any kind of lucky charms or kind of things you're ready to do today?
No, like only, we had a few hits towards us, leak of the strategy, so we had to change a few things in our initial strategy, and so basically it's gonna be only skill and how to say this? Yeah, it's gonna be just preparation and skill.
Okay, cool. Well, Redlin, unless you've got any last questions, we'll head off.
I have one last question for both servers. I'm going to ask you to make a bet here. What do you think the top killing weapon in the championship server smash is going to be?
Beamer, probably the Beamer.
The Beamer. Okay, so we have the Beamer and Emerald.
Candy Cannon.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
Okay. So it's no longer the highest. It's which one's going to be the highest among those two.
You know,
okay.
One stat I'd love to see is which team had the most reses, because that might be the pivotal factor.
Well, including or not including res grenades. Yes, but anyway, thanks so much, guys. We'll let you get back, because you're going to start in about 13 minutes. So I'll let you go back, and cheers for talking to us today. You heard it there first, Red. Beamer or Candy Cannon?
Man, that's a hard thing. They're going to really have to.
Candy Cannon's hard. Okay, it's got triple shot, but Beamer, I think maybe slightly better than Candy Cannon.
I think this is the only time we could make this claim. The Beamer is better than
Something else. There'll be a debate though, because someone will be like, no, Candy Cannon, no, that's legit, man. So today, I guess we're gonna talk about Amerish and the meta here. We have, I think, 6 lanes today on the beginning for Forces Divide their 288 forces. In the north, you'd have to say that North Grove Post is more favourable to Cobalt, simply due to the proximity of their western warp gate. NC Arsenal is a 50-50 both either way. There could be some interdiction going on at Sungray West of the Algar. Not interdiction. Interdiction would be perhaps at Lithcorp and Nevermore. So it's to be seen how kind of NC Arsenal plays off, whether or not one team puts a huge amount of emphasis on it. Roxicom Network Hub is relatively balanced in the middle. The Ascent, we should mention that Rockslide Outlook is out of bounds. We won't be playing this territory for balance reasons. But the Ascent, it all comes down to gaining access to Lithcorp Central and Raven's Landing, which for the Halloween stuff is called Nevermore. So that's the access to the Ascent. And then on Tumas Tech Plant, we have seen this before. There are interdiction play at Tumas Skylance, but actually it's more so Tumas Cargo Facility. The Western Warp Gate has usually always tried to get on that point and stop the Eastern Warp Gate from getting to it. The thing is, do you value the North or do you value the South more, Redland? I mean, how would you play this out?
I think that, what we've seen in the few times we've played on Amerish is the North is more valuable, especially to the Western Warp Gate. Frankly, it's more valuable to both sides than the South. And while we've seen a lot of people head for the middle, the Ascent is a really juicy target. We've seen, as you said, a lot of interdiction and stuff trying for Tumas. Just reading the forums and listening to what just soldiers and people are saying out there, it seems like the North is where everyone wants to push to. And that's just the way that these matches have gone. Now, that isn't to say that the Eastern Warp Gate can't try and exploit what is pretty much a very weak lane for them down at the South. It's all one cap point bases: Barrack Electrical, Araxicom Chemical, Tormir Storage Area. They can walk right up to Waco Camp Station. So it's a matter of where do they place their forces. And the real danger on Amerish is that you place your forces in a yin-yang formation in the opening to everyone else. So one server sends everyone to the south, everyone sends it to the north. It's you're playing chicken at that point. Who's going to blink first and redeploy their forces to go protect what you're taking?
Right, and there was another thing. Is statistically speaking, it is possible to have a theoretical percentage draw on this map, not including Rockslide Outlook. It can be the same. Was it 49-49 or something?
I believe it's 49-49.
And then in that instance, we play on a best of 3. Whoever has NC Arsenal, the Ascent, and Tumas Tech Plant, whoever has 2 out of 3 of those facilities at the end of the 2 hours is the winner. It's just a minor thing we noticed and we fixed on round 2. So there is value in having the Ascent and the NC Arsenal on top of the fact that they're large facilities and they control a dominant section of the middle of the game and the north of the map as well. There is element in that if it is super close, those facilities have extra influence and meaning. I mean, if you take NC Arsenal as you dominate what basically goes on in the north. And one thing that we've noticed that Cobalt and Emerald both do is that sometimes we've played where the large outposts are 7-minute base capture if all 3 capture points are under contention and taken by the attackers, right? So some factions, and this may perhaps happen with Miller, they would own a large facility and they would try and attack another base, or they would fight somewhere else, but they would let their large outpost deliberately tick down, then come in at the last minute and save. That doesn't happen with Cobalt and Emerald. They come to their large outpost and save it immediately. That's something I've noticed. Now, in an instance where, let's say I'm attacking a small outpost and the enemy is attacking my large outpost, yes, I'll neglect my large outpost because a 4-minute base capture is obviously quicker than a 7-minute base capture, then I can go back to NC Arsenal. But that doesn't give you an excuse to neglect your large outpost if you're not going to get a gain out of it for like 4 minutes. And that's something I like with Cobalt and Emerald, because they will make an effort to save their bases quickly all the time.
And both of them have numerous occasions in Server Smash where they will feint large groups of forces with the intention not of taking the base, but of actually deploying all those people away into galaxies, into other things,
right,
different part of the map completely, but make the enemy think that they're pushing for, say, the middle on the ascent or too much tech plant, and then basically once the enemy reacts to it, say, haha, well, no, that's actually not what we were going for, and go deploy somewhere else. I really would not be surprised to see that from both servers, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, up in the north, that North Grove post, it is closer to the Amerish Western Warp Gate, but in the matches that we've played here, it doesn't seem to stay that Western Warp Gate as much. It's a lot harder for the Western Gate to push into Moss Ravine than it is for the Eastern Gate to push Lithcorp Fortress, just the way that those bases work, and it's really hard to get in as an attacker to Moss Ravine. So even though it might fall very quickly for the Western Warp Gate, that is a base that tends to go back and forth until something like NC Arsenal flips, and at that point you have secured so much territory and so much influence over the north, it tends to influence everything else around it.
Yeah. Now, what I think is pushing the northern lane is tricky if you don't have NC Arsenal. Either lane pushing can be difficult, but more so I think for the east, just the nature of going around, because the warp gate's so close and the nature of the terrain. Getting if you don't own NC Arsenal, if the Western warp gate owns NC Arsenal and you're trying to push around it to try and get North Growth or Lithcorp, it's very difficult because it's an air terminal base. I think it even has a Galaxy terminal base. That's actually really, really valuable because it means that you can get fresh gal pools and have it as your strategic point of operations where you can go back and forth, around the map from that base. And that flexibility to move around is key here, because I think the main issue we're going to see here is aggression and making sure that I am fighting on your base, we are not fighting on my base. So always fighting on enemy territory is the key, because it means that your bases are safe and you're fighting on enemy territory, and you can just, so long as you're in the lead statistically point-wise, then I'm happy to fight on your base all day long.
And it's an interesting thing. Okay, just
we're getting close to the start, so I should do my rest speech, otherwise...
we are, 5 minutes 30, so okay, go ahead, Justicia, why don't you do your ref speech, just going to explain the rules, and then we'll get back to the beginning of the game.
Will do. Hello guys, this is Justicia, game referee, speaking on All Call. Welcome everybody to the final match of the first Planetside Battle Server Smash tournament. Please pay careful attention as I go over the match rules. All participants should have been informed about these already. As game referee, I have final say on all matters of the event. All concerns during the game should be brought to the attention of the server reps, who will then bring the matters to me. Server reps for today are Passionate Lover for Cobalt and Pieces of Pizza for Emerald. The game referee is responsible for timekeeping of the event and is also responsible for tallying the final score. The objective of today's match is to capture as much of Amerish as possible within a 2-hour time limit. The winner is the server with the most territory at the end of these 2 hours, as determined by the in-game territory control graph. There is no overtime. There are no immediate gameplay restrictions, so play the game as it is meant to be played. There is one base out of play, namely Rockslide Outlook. The terminals and turrets in this outpost have been destroyed, and the turret territory may be used and traversed, but the point may not be captured. If after 2 hours both sides own the same percentage of territory, which is possible, we have a tiebreaker. The side who owns the majority of the following 3 bases wins: NC Arsenal, the Ascent, and Tumas Tech Plant. Again, this tiebreaker only occurs if both sides own the same percent of territory. Every player should have their character number listed before their name on TeamSpeak. For example, if your character is Server Smash TR316, you should put the number 316 in front of your name on TeamSpeak. Do not delete any characters from the account you have been given. If you delete a character, it cannot simply be recreated with battle rank inserts. You will not be given another account, and you and your outfit may face further consequences. Please report any problems you have with characters or accounts to the server rep so we can keep track. All participants are required to remain on the event continent of Amerish during the entire match. You may not leave to a different continent. If you have account problems or you need to be replaced, please contact your server rep. Reserves, you must check in with your server rep before subbing into the game. Cheating, using exploits, hacking, or real-life enemy sabotage may forfeit the match for your server and could disqualify your outfit or entire server for participation in future Planetside Battles events. The match will start at the top of the hour, and you will receive a notification and countdown on All Call from me. You are not allowed to leave the Warp Gate bubble until the match starts, so get ready and best of luck to all participants. At this point, there are 2 minutes and 30 seconds left before the start.
Thank you, Justice. Yeah. Well, I think we're getting close to the game start. Any last thoughts, Redland, before we go ahead?
No, I'm looking forward to a good game. I think you should go ahead and play the open, and then we can get ready to go.
Rightio.
Where we come from, we each fight for loyalty, for freedom, or perhaps enlightenment. But not here. Here we cast aside our disparate beliefs, our barriers and preconceived notions, and band together as a global force to engage in some of the largest competitive battles this world has ever seen. We are the squads, the platoons, the empires and servers, full of players coordinating a complex game of strategy and tactics. This is where combined arms happens. This is where war comes to play. This is Server Smash.
Okay, we are about 70 seconds away, so I'm going to be in the north. I have got a hunch maybe something's going to happen at NC Arsenal, so that's what I'm watching. What about yourself, Redland?
I'm going to be heading down to the south. I have a hunch that there might be something going on at Must Tech Plant, maybe that interdiction and stuff. But honestly, those seem to be the big.
1 minute to go. 1 minute before the start.
NC Arsenal, everyone wants it. We've spoken about how important it is, and Tumas seems to have always a good fight with that interdiction and seeing if
there's
hold Emerald off.
Just a few things, guys, before we start. This section is the kill graph. These are total kills, death, TKs. These are different faction ones. This is the percentage bar moved across. There'll be indications and notifications of bases that get captain saved as we go through. Forgot to mention that. There are a few other minor things. We have a kill graph, a map timeline, a leadership board. I'll show them all as the stream starts. And also, when the stream starts, refresh the stats page. Maelstrom wanted me to say that simply because it will update as more stats are brought in. So refresh the page as the game goes on. There you go. Okay, crash course and stats done. Let's get this started.
Get ready to start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go. Good luck. May the best server win.
There we go. Beginning of our championship match. Emerald versus Cobalt. And at the beginning we can see fresh wave of Reavers incoming from Emerald. Looks like they're going straight for the Ascent. It's one big death ball. You seen any suicides?
I've not seen any suicide. It's interesting. It seems like Cobalt has a significant portion going. It's either middle or north. They have very, very few forces that are heading down here to the south and trying to track along with those.
Actually, a lot of them are actually. That big giant death ball is not going to NC Arsenal. Whoa, okay. It's Bale Wars going on over NC Arsenal. Wow, that's. I wonder if they're ramming each other, such as the explosions. So whereabouts are you now currently, Redland?
I am down at Tumas Cargo, and it looks like Cobalt has actually just barely beaten them to the point, but the Reavers are actually getting down onto the point. This is very, very close as to whether or not who will win this race here.
Looks like, as far as NC Arsenal is concerned, Cobalt has got themselves on C point. They've got themselves a Galaxy drop. Looks like it's full. They've got themselves a Max. Although the skies are still in control by Emerald. Emerald's got air control at the moment, such as it looks, and they also have 2 of the 3 capture points. I like the fact that Cobalt hacked one of the anti-air turrets that sits on top of the C point. It's not actually shooting the Galaxy.
Was not able to be interdicted, and actually it looks like Cobalt did not even attempt to drop on it. They tried to fly directly past Barrack Electrical Station, but that is currently flipping, I believe, in Emerald's favor, so that there was no interdiction at the tech plant whatsoever. And there was an attempted interdiction by Emerald at Lithcorp Central, but they did not get the interdiction happening, and the interdiction instead has happened with Cobalt at Nevermore. I'm heading up to Nevermore right now.
There's an interesting roof fight going on at NC Arsenal. It should be noted that due to the nature of this being a third faction base, I like the fact Emerald bringing up Sunder reinforcements over a nice little kind of hillside. Look at that. They must be bringing like 10 or 12 Sunders onto the spawn room area, providing plenty of spawn functionality. They've got 2 of the 3 capture points. Looks like we check the number population currently, 2-1 in favor of Emerald. So Emerald's hand is played. They want NC Arsenal. And looks like Cobalt... Sorry, go ahead.
The interdiction at Nevermore has been taken out by Cobalt. Cobalt still has more people at Lithcorp Central right now than I'm sorry, Emerald does than Cobalt does, but it doesn't matter. That cap is going through. So the middle, it looks like Cobalt has an advantage getting into the ascent quickly. Although you're right, it does look like Cobalt seems to have pushed the edges. They're going for Araxicom Network Hub and North Grove Post, where Emerald has gone for NC Arsenal.
I love what Emerald's done here by being able to get Sunders into the points by coming over via the spawn room area. It's like one of those prairie rings you have in the Wild West of wagons. And Cobalt are the Indians. And it looks like Cobalt is really just holding on to C as a stalling tactic. So number-wise, this is actually really, really good. So long as Cobalt can keep a firm grip of the Charlie capture point at NC Arsenal, this stalls his base out well over 18 minutes. And it's up to Cobalt to make a push and make a difference. At the same time, North Grove is going to be taken by Cobalt, so that's positive for them. Looks like they're going to get Araxicom Network Hub. They're definitely going to get Lithcorp. Nevermore is in control of Emerald. Emerald's going to get Cargo. Cobalt's going to get Skylance, and Barrack Electrical looks like it's going to be in the hands of Emerald.
Yeah, I'm actually down here.
Emerald Air making pretty good use of close air support up in the north, but looks like Cobalt's Air has control of the middle and south. So,
and Cobalt is definitely in the south down here. They are trying to get vehicles into. They actually. Oh, this is. Cobalt has Sunders and PPA harassers ready to push down to the point of Barrack Electrical, but they're not doing it. Do they not know that they can get down there?
Go have a look.
The harassers are kind of nosing their way down, but they're not actually pushing onto the point yet. There are so many vehicles here, and
they can get down. Surely they know that. They've seen previous smashes. Perhaps they're just playing it smart and using their PPAs kind of a safer distance. But with 45 seconds to go, however, they have to make the push for the point at some point. They can't just give the base away for free.
Huge air battle now over NC Arsenal. Cobalt wants to push Emerald out of the north.
Just watch how this base cap was 30 seconds, and we'll go back to NC Arsenal and see the air fight.
That is very confusing, the vehicle play there. I mean, they could come down those stairs any moment, and they just aren't.
Okay, on the 20-second marker, they're looking to make a push. I mean, they're at the doors, but...
Oh, here it comes now. Here comes one of the harassers.
Yeah, but on 14 seconds to go, they're leaving it far too late before deciding to come down. I mean, there's far too much Emerald here. And look, they've even got Emerald reinforcements coming in from the south. This is going to be an Emerald base. There you go, Emerald takes Blar's blood.
Very, very impressive airplay by Cobalt. Extremely disciplined scythe tactics going on here.
Over NC Arsenal?
Yeah, over NC Arsenal. They're just...
Whoa, no kidding.
Raven's Landing has actually now been back-hacked by Cobalt. They managed to move their forces from Lithcorp onto Ravens before it could cap, which means now they have free access to the ascent and the entire middle of the map. They are, however, losing NC Arsenal, although they did manage to capture both Araxicom and North Grove. I wonder if they're going to move all of their people from those two bases.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. So they got Lithcorp Central first, and as a result were able to attack Nevermore, preventing Emerald from getting their hands on the ascent. I'd like to see the cap on the ascent actually start, though, for the Cobalt forces. Well, the fight, it looks like two quasi-air groups. The Emerald force has been pushed back over Sungri Amp Station, and the Cobalt air groups, looks like it's mainly just death balls in the north. They're engaging at range. They don't want to get lured up. They're well away from the ground, so they can't get affected by anti-air, and they're just kind of baiting each other in and maybe picking people off.
Yeah, they've been picking them off and inching forward. And Cobalt
has just dropped 2 galaxies worth of people onto NC Arsenal. They're on the rooftops. They're trying to push down in. This looks like mostly Maxes right now. There's some small air coming back in. I think... I want to say this might have been planned. Let's try and get those 2 exterior bases and then move all of our forces back into NC Arsenal before it caps.
Yeah, it was a good stalling at Charlie Point. It definitely delayed the base, and the simple fact is... NC Arsenal hasn't been captured yet by either. Now, yes, they still have a very, very strong Sunder force and the Alpha capture point, but does Cobalt know this? Is Cobalt going to move on to B and C? Because they've got themselves the Bravo capture point. And the Bravo capture point looks to be reasonably tied down in terms of numbers, and the Charlie point now is being flipped. It's totally undefended in terms of infantry, or very lightly defended, so if Cobalt wanted to move in, they could. So the
Cobalt
Alpha
now
point's the
has
trick.
Cobalt now has more people in NC Arsenal than Emerald does, and they are only a few seconds away from capturing Raven's Landing.
Yeah, they're applying pressure to Crux headquarters. They got themselves a Raxicom network hub. They got themselves North Grove Post. Not really interested in Moss Ravine, although we do see 2 squads over there, but that possibly air. And now they've decided to move their forces to NC Arsenal. And there's even an armor column prepping a push down to Sungri West, keeping reinforcement vehicles coming in. It looks like they're looking for spawns, but I wonder if they know about all the Sunders that are currently on the A point, possibly providing spawn-in options for Emerald.
I am very confused as to why the cap at the Ascent has not started.
Well, there's... that's a good point. Well, they
have Sunders. Emerald has Sunders there, but they're not doing anything with it.
I mean, it's a free base. You might as well start it immediately. And okay, 1 capture point is being held. There's a good number of NC Sunders from Emerald deployed and ready. But the fact is, it takes 1 infiltrator. It probably is 1 infiltrator. We'll just have a quick look, see if we can't find him. Oh, a bit too fast.
Emerald had put people and vehicles onto Tumas Tech Plant, and they are currently capping it. However, there is a force of Cobalt that have gal dropped onto the balcony. They're trying to push their way in. They don't have any maxes or any support like that. This is just a peek around the corner battle at the moment.
It looks like Emerald has counter-pushed on Nevermore. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, Emerald did counter-push on Nevermore, but as you can see, that cap, they could have... Cobalt could have had a cap going on the Ascent for
quite some time. They've only really sent 1 or so infiltrator. Now we see about 12-24 in the Ascent. I don't really want to see that many people. Ultimately, I'd like to see just a couple of infiltrators grab the capture points as quickly as possible, and then those forces that are the Ascent to move to Nevermore and just apply more pressure. All you want to do is stall Nevermore for a few more minutes, just so you've got a stronger position when it comes to the Ascent. Right, we're going to go back to the NC Arsenal. Can you check Tumas... No, actually, I'll check Tumas Tech Plant. You check the north from me, Sungraham.
Yeah. There is a significant armor force here now for the VS. They have lightnings and a couple of mag riders. They're actually running into some vanguards that are coming up the hill here.
Ooh, I'm coming.
This is interesting. I think
this is empty tanks versus those vanguards, though, unfortunately.
So Barrack Electrical was taken by Emerald, and Araxicom Chemical Co. was being captured by Emerald, has been saved, but it looks like Cobalt is decided to give up the tech plant. They're not going to seriously contend it, and then they're going to use their numbers elsewhere. Now that only really works if they can get their hands on the 2 other key bases, the Ascent, which they're in a good position to start with, and the NC Arsenal. So we're going to go back and check Nevermore, because it's really important that the Cobalt forces, at least for their game plan, if they want to get the Ascent for free, is to constantly interdict and cause pressure at Nevermore, which is Raven's Landing outside of the Halloween event.
Now, even with that armor group that's pushing through for the NC at NC Arsenal, all 3 points are now flipping in favor of the VS here.
At NC Arsenal, all 3 points VS?
They are just about to be here.
I see North Grove. Can you check North Grove for us? Because that looks like it's going to be a Cobalt cap.
I'm waiting for C to flip here, and then I will, yes.
I would head over there then. Reinforcement Galaxy, a couple of scythes poking in the doorway, having a look. Doesn't look like there's much infantry, however, for Cobalt.
Cobalt now owns all 3 points at NC Arsenal. This is obviously what they have made their play for. They have resecured a lot of people from other lanes and pushed them in here. Unfortunately, they have not managed to get rid of some of the spawns that Emerald has managed to put in. They have 2 incredibly well-placed Sunderers at NC Arsenal that's going to be incredibly difficult for Cobalt to get rid of, if they even know where they're coming from.
Oh, that's a nice counter backplay by using the small staircase there by the Vanu. So they did come in at the last moment in North Grove Post, and around the 20-second marker they made a save. Population-wise, they were slightly outnumbered, about 2-1, but it's still small squad numbers, and they pushed the Emerald force that was
my
nearly
God.
capturing off.
Emerald has a conga line of Sunders coming up into the spawn area.
Yep, they're doing the exact same thing they did in the first time round. So they're using this to bypass any form of armor outside the base, which I don't think Cobalt was even aware of. They can't even get to due to the nature of the hills and the mountains. And now they're in the base. 3 capture points, yes, are still in control by Cobalt, but we have to see here, are these Sunders of different outfits? I'm looking at them dark, 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 dark. No, it's all the same outfit, so unless these guys are in different squads, you can't have a huge platoon just spawn in unless the leaders are, in different squad locations.
They're literally just going to play ring around Rosie with Cobalts and Bulldogs. That's all they're doing. They're just driving around killing every VS.
Yeah, but they need to, obviously they want a capture point though. Alright, so we look at Bravo Point and there's Maxes and infantry. They have pushed in. Cobalt's Air Force has turned up. I'm not sure they can do anything about the Sunders, and especially when they're indoors.
But the Air Force is killing the Sunders before they come into the building.
Okay, but it doesn't change the fact that by holding on to the Bravo capture point, Cobalt, they'll delay this into a 7-minute base, and now it's the Cobalt forces, population-wise, are going to be tied down. And the rest of the map, Crux headquarters is down to 1:20. Cobalt's almost about to get a large outpost here.
This is a large outpost, and this is incredibly dangerous for Emerald. Incredibly. I mean, there's nothing but
70 seconds to go, and they're going to get Crux headquarters here. I'm looking, we have some harassers, and that's Yukas, right? So they are on the outside, but with 70 seconds to go, are they're going to have to get out the harassers? Have you told the guy in the harasser to get out the harasser? He's not happy.
Yeah, Ikus is here, and this is the first time that they've actually put their own outfit tag, so I can be certain that that is them. But it looks like they're alone, and those harassers are really great for interdiction and harassment, but they're not really great for preventing...
Okay, they're outnumbered. Cobalt's Air Force, not here. Emerald's Air Force is here with some harassers. But 45 seconds, is there ESFs? Are they going to bail out of the Reavers? Are they going to go to the capture points? Because this is getting ruthless close. If I was Cobalt right now, I would oh my god, Crux headquarters, 30 seconds, send everybody. To the extent where it's almost as important as the NC Arsenal, because you're going to get a major facility for free. I mean, okay, so here we have an NC push. Oh, but the PPA from the scythe, he's doing a beautiful amount of work to stall, but the A capture point is currently being flipped. So, the UCAS guys from the harassers have actually gotten out their harassers. They've gotten out their harassers. They're flipping the A point. The Bravo point is now being flipped by this NC infantry force that's moving into B. And they're flipping it. And the fact is, this was 30 seconds. This was so close. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a 7-minute base save, which means it safeguards the middle lane in the north. But Cobalt could have gotten this. However, it is pulling a lot of numbers away. Well, we say that. It's actually nearly 54-45, so maybe not. It was a nice play, though. The Ascent is ticking... Oh, look, there's 1 through 12 NC at the Ascent. That's Emerald, but they can't do anything because at Nevermore, which is a beautiful play by Cobalt, they are actually capturing the access to the Ascent. So I think the Ascent is pretty much a free base when it gets down to 4 minutes. I think it will be, actually. And they still have the base. Oh, that max crash coming in from Emerald. They're going to try and make a push on the capture point here.
Yeah, Crux headquarters is flipping back. It's flashing right now, and this is a very quick base cap. 22 seconds. It's going back in favor of Cobalt right now.
What? Oh, and this max, guys, they didn't even get inside the capture point. 29 seconds to go. 2 critical bases are going off at the same time. I'm going to stay and watch Nevermore. If you can just continue to watch Crux headquarters and call out for me.
Looks
Actually,
like close air support finally arrived.
one thing we're missing, however, is that Emerald is pushing hard in the south. Emerald is taking Tormir Storage Yard, they are taking Tumask Islands Battery, they have taken the tech plant, and while all of this is going up in the north for these very critical bases, they are gaining a lot of ground in the south.
I mean, if we look at the statistics, percentages here, Emerald is actually still in the lead at 49% against Cobalt's 46, but that is... Oh, the point is under heavy contention at Nevermore and Raven's Landing. They've come up from the main stairs. It's a lot of resources being used here by Emerald to make a last-ditch save, so Cobalt can take solace in that, but res grenade wars are going off, and it looks like Emerald is going to hit the control point. Yeah, so Emerald makes a save, but the fact is the Ascent is a free base capture for Cobalt, so that is still a good coup for Cobalt. And you're right, Crux headquarters was being saved, but now is going back in favor again for Cobalt. Now the question is Cobalt going to commit more numbers? As Lanzer said, the Air Force is here over Crux headquarters for Cobalt, not... Oh, and Yukas Oh, the poor harassers. They're just being shot like lame animals.
Yep.
There is a nice little 2-squad guerrilla charge going on in the south lane here, Tormar Storage Yard. The NC Emerald are basically just walking out in the open with some Falcon and Raven Maxes, and they're trying to get up onto the point to get this capture.
Look at that, 3 seconds. They've got themselves the first large outpost. So there you have it. Cobalt takes Crux headquarters. This is interesting, and the fact is Cobalt is going to get the Ascent. NC Arsenal is still in debate with 4.5 minutes to go. We'll go check that out, because this is the last crucial kind of large outpost in terms of the neutral modifier, but this is like north and middle-ish is going for Cobalt, south is definitely going in the favour of Emerald, right? But Tumas Skylance has been saved, and Tormar isn't really going anywhere at the moment, so I'm going to go check down the south.
You have to think, if you're talking only opening, yes, there's a lot of places that Emerald can be grabbing territory, which is what they're doing in the south, but for the long game, you don't want to lose Crux. You don't want to lose NC Arsenal. Cobalt has a force ahead at McCulloch Cart Mining. Those are incredibly difficult bases to get back. If you lose this in your opening, you may not be able to make enough territory up in the south to make up for it.
And we're finally seeing some really effective close air support from Cobalt. They were really slow in the beginning. They were kind of searching for anti-air sort of stratagem, but now they are in Emerald's business on the ground. And we saw it at Crux headquarters. It really played a key.
The third point is now flipping at NC Arsenal. B is about to flip completely for Cobalt, and it is 110 until 2 major facilities in the north have flipped for Cobalt. I am rooting for Cobalt, and in no way did I expect this opening right now. There is a lot that Emerald's going to have to do to try and stop what's happening to them in the opening here.
Another Emerald Tonga line at NC Arsenal.
A very strong half platoon force of Emerald is on Cobalt's base in Tormar Storage Yard. No Cobalt to be seen. Cobalt's making a small attack on Tumas Tech Plant. It looks like they actually have forces at Aramex Chemical Co, but they've been back attacked at Storage Yard. They're going to have to leave Aramex Chemical and come back. The Ascent's going to go in 8 seconds, and the NC Arsenal, you're right, is 30 seconds. We're going to warp over there very quickly.
There we go. By Emerald to do Conga line, but they're getting bogged down by close air support.
The Ascent just captured for Cobalt. It looks like Emerald is getting on to C point here at
NC Arsenal.
Oh, okay. No,
it was very, very brief. This thing is like 1 light assault, perhaps, just being one heavy being a nuisance bit.
Huge push from Emerald. They're trying to get onto a point here. They're coming down to try and push into C point.
It's not enough though with 3 capture points in 10 seconds, and well done. That is another large outpost taken by Cobalt. They've got themselves their hands on NC Arsenal. So the fact is, they've got North Grove Post saved. They're keeping the fight at Moss Ravine. They've got themselves NC Arsenal. They can now push. The fact is, they've got people in Sundry Westgate already. It's flipping, which means NC Arsenal is now totally safe. Crux headquarters is a horrendous base to take. Look at that. They're taking McCalla, or they were taking McCalla Cart Mining, but 24-48. So Emerald's had to mega redeploy and make that save. They're still taking Nevermere Storage. This is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good pressure by Emerald in the south, but the middle and the north, Cobalt is just dictating the terms of this game.
And the thing is, those 2 bases take so long to cap. Cobalt can move its forces around now. And Nevermore, which looks like it has a group trying to push in, is just getting absolutely hammered by air. And this NC who are trying to push onto the point to this last minute, 1 minute cap, are just getting absolutely destroyed outside.
I definitely want to point out NCR.
The air support.
Air support by Cobalt was a huge factor.
We were seeing the air support at Nevermore Raven's Landing, and it's just impressive. PPA and rocket spam, and they know the nature of this base, and the air support is here, and it is real, and it is just annihilating the infantry attempted saves by Emerald. There's no like counter vehicle push being implied here. It's all from the spawn room infantry running, and that is very hard to do with this sheer level of ground support. That's a friendly TK. Oh, but the 1 Reaver. Okay, so it's still all Cobalt Air and Cobalt ground forces, and they're going to get themselves Nevermore, and that will guarantee. I don't know what this Max is about to pull off. And that will guarantee safety of the Ascent, and it will mean that pressure can start happening on Araxis Firearms Corp.
This is, I mean, I think even this opening went beyond their wildest dreams.
They're attacking, look, it goes even more beyond this, right? So North Grove Post is attacked by a small force of Emerald. Sundry West is still counting down. If you can check the Sundry West, it looks like it's been saved though. But the fact is they're applying pressure to Blackshard Tungsten Mine, and McCalla Cart Mining still has a minute to go, but a lot of Emerald are sitting there waiting for the guaranteed save. So it's like, oh, you saved that base? Well, you're still counting down. We'll apply pressure elsewhere.
I'm headed to Blackshard right now.
Blackshard would be nice with air support. Now, I realize it's somewhat close to... Lancer, could you tell me, is there like Emerald Air Force? Because I'm only seeing Cobalt Air at the moment.
They just arrived from Araxis. They were pushed out of Sungary by the Cobalt Air Wing, and they kind of been sitting back waiting for the moment to strike, and now they're trying to take it at Nevermore.
Oh, it's not a good day for that harasser.
This is what we have been waiting for all match. We have been waiting. We've been saying the thing that Emerald never had to do is come back. They've never had to be back-footed. They've never had to, okay, that didn't work, now what? This is the time.
They've had that moment.
This is the time. They don't have the momentum now. They are on the back foot. We need to see from Emerald where are they going to push. We know that they can attack multiple bases at once. We know that they can pull off those amazing base trades. They got to start doing it right now.
Well, they're making a save Blackshard Tungsten Mine. The fact is, they're pulling twice their numbers off to make the save. Oh my goodness. So the forces that went from McCalla Cart Mining to Blackshard Tungsten Mine have now gone to McCalla Cart Mining. So McCalla Cart Mining is now ticking down. So they made a save on Tungsten, but now McCalla Cart Mining is ticking back down again. So it's a game of back and forth by Cobalt, and it means that both capture points are getting dangerous to 2-minute markers.
Pretty good air skirmishes going on between Cobalt and Emerald Air Force right now, still within the
whereabouts?
Chimney Rock, Araxis region.
Chimney Rock. Have a come look.
I'm at Airmax Chemical right now, and there is a very, very large Cobalt force here holding everything. There is a significant force of Emerald NC trying to push in the doors. I just don't think they have enough momentum. They don't have enough people here to take out these guys, even with maxes that they're pulling.
Oh, so the Tormar storage yard base was saved because that was under attack. Oh, I can see the maxes on the minimap with regards to RMX Chemical Co. Yeah, that's a lot of maxes. I mean, the cap point is under contention, and they are trying to fight away from the fight because they're fighting on an enemy base. That's positive for Cobalt. Emerald, however, what kind of numbers are they implying here? 50-50. Okay, 50-50 numbers. There isn't a hard spawn in search for Cobalt, so I don't think Cobalt can take this base. No, they're already losing the capture point. And we can check on the mini-map just the sheer numbers here. So we'll have a quick look. So the tech plant, 2 squads from Cobalt are pushing the tech plant. I'll have a look there next. What's going on in the north? Will I look here? It's just a harassment force at the Tumas tech plant. 2 squads being a nuisance with a galaxy spawn. We can see some of Emerald's air force coming into the tech plant, perhaps to clear off. And ultimately, this is just there's a cap that's going at Tumas tech plant. It's safeguarding Tumas Skylance, but it's also forcing Emerald to have to come in and make a save and playing on the back foot.
I'm heading over to McCalla Cart Mining. My camera's acting a little weird as far as not allowing me to change certain things about it. But
it's 15 seconds.
15 seconds. There's so much Cobalt air here. I don't see how any push can survive.
But it's good use of ground air support because they're here at the right time, and there's a lot of Emerald pushing for the capture point. But you got to think that they're on the point they're on the point last second, but it doesn't matter. Cobalt gets the base. You're too late, Emerald. Too late. Wow, that's
has an air wing of Moss Ravine and Araxis. They could have sandwiched if they wanted to.
Oh, and you're not seeing this right now, but Emerald is known for their smack talk. There's no smack talk from Emerald. It's Cobalt smack talk today. Oh, this is bitter for Emerald. Just a second too late. So that air support has got to bought a few seconds. The capture point itself isn't actually ticking down. Oh, you know what? The NC force that was here, they got wiped out. So they were able to get to the capture point. They were able to flicker it on the last second, but they've been pushed off. And without spawns now, it's going to go down to beacons. And now, the Cobalt force, they can actually stay here, but they're already attacking Tungsten Mine. So this force can go to Tech Plant, or they can go back to Tungsten Mine. In the north, they're attacking Moss Ravine, but that's been saved. They're applying pressure on Sungri Westgate. If we have a look, there is a small token force at Araxis Firearms current pressure. That small force at Tumas Tech Plant, look at that. that slightly over 2 squads has pulled in a full platoon of Emerald to make a save on the tech plant, and the Aramax Chemical Co., the fighting is still happening on the Emerald base, not the Cobalt base. So Cobalt, across the entire continent, would you be right in agreeing with me, Redland, that they're just dictating this entire game at the moment?
Absolutely. And here is the thing: if you're in Emerald leadership, you have to calm your troops down and slow this match down. It looks like everything has gone to disaster here, but there is still 3/4 of a match left. You can get gains now. It is not over, but you need to let everyone calm down and say, all right, here is what we have to do. We have to get this base and then this base. Forget worrying about the...
We're only 29 minutes into the game. There's still another 90 minutes to go. And speaking of which, let's have a quick look at the map timeline. Here we see on the stream the map timeline. It's generally linear, both teams getting bases until we get into the first part, and then we just see it's a straight path for Cobalt, grabbing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases in a row.
At Blackshard Tungsten Mine, there is a force of NC that's trying to push out, but this is, well, at least it was for a little while, the Cobalt Air was just absolutely destroying anyone who's trying to make that push. Now they pulled some Burster Maxes here. This is at Blackshard Tungsten Mine. Emerald has pulled some Burster Maxes. They looks like they chased off some of the more timid air, and they are now making a big...
They have their own spawn galaxy in the capture point as well. One good engineer, no heavy assault trying to make a difference, but this cap behind. What's this guy going to do? Oh, light assault trying to C4 the galaxy. C4 galaxy? What? This is not going to work. Extra reinforcements. Here comes a squad from the reverse end. They're coming in from the west side onto the capture point. The Cobalt forces are going to realize this. The Maxes are turning around. They're moving into the capture point. And the Emerald guys, they see 2 Maxes. What are they going to do? Going to die. They're all going to die. Okay then. Maxes are still relevant. You heard it here first. Oh, but res grenades, very effective. Max is getting a lot of good kills from the lack of health and shields, but there we go. So the combined arms group, that small squad of Emerald, saves Blackshard Tungsten Mine.
I'm heading down to the southern lane here again. It looks like I've certainly found some of Emerald's air. And
could you swing by Araxis Firearms Corp, please? A Macalla Tech's under contention. Tumas Tech was
on all call. 1 hour 30 minutes remaining. 90 minutes remaining.
Oh, here's another thing. Gil BMF is not the top farmer. He's the second top farmer. Just for the guys keeping stats here.
And as soon as Cobalt Air arrives, Emerald Air makes a tactical.
Wow, you want to hear something really amazing, Redland? The Orion is in 3rd place.
Is in 3rd place.
3rd place. The Anchor and the SVA 88 are 1st and 2nd. Then comes the Orion, and the AV grenade nowhere to be seen.
Now here's the next question. Who is in the lead, the Beamer or the Candy Cannon?
Okay. Apologies to the streamer. I'm going to find an interesting fight, then I'm going to go find out. I'm going to go to Macalla Tech Plant and then find that stat out for you.
At Araxis Firearm Corps, Cobalt has a 2 or 3 squad force here. No reaction whatsoever from Emerald at the moment. Emerald looks to be trying to push to Tumas Skylands Battery at the same time, which is probably what you want to see from them right now, especially with these large bases. You know, they have 5 minutes to go ahead and try and get something else. If they can capture Tumas Skylands and then go back and save Araxis Firearm Corps, that is a win for them in the long game. However, you have to think there is a lot of fighting on their side, on the blue sides of the map, which it's not usual for Emerald. Emerald wants it all.
You wanted the stats? The Beamer is winning 3-1. Beamer has 3 kills, Candy Cannon has 1.
Buff Candy Cannon 2014.
Yeah. So anyway, with regards to the Macalla Tech Plant, it's still small numbers. Both the vehicle terminals were destroyed, however, so that is definitely working in Cobalt's favour. There isn't obviously the mistake of being able to pull tons of vehicles. Cobalt has been able to bring in a GSD Sundra on the rear. Let's have a look. But it's been C4'd and it's just being a nuisance. They're bringing extra GST Sunders, however, so they are bringing in forms of reinforcements. They are just being a nuisance as well. 4 minutes on the base is going to have to elicit a 50-50 response. They're already at 2-1 outnumbered, but they're just playing smart. Here we go. I can see the force coming in the tunnels. There we go, force coming in the tunnels. The Cobalt guys have got to see this. Are they going to use the Sunders? Yes! The Sunders on the hole. He's like, nope. He's going to go back and forth, run them all over. Nearly. Oh, it's beautiful. As far as gameplay goes, that was a very, very effective Sundra on the cap point, or on the gap point. And wow, and then the cavalry comes in terms of reinforcements and Sunders, so there's extra forces by the Cobalt play. This is exceptionally good Sunder reinforcement play when they don't have the terminal. So they are on the back of the capture point, and the strength of Cobalt in terms of the Mikhaila tech plant is growing. It's now 50-50 when they were outnumbered. So let's have a recap of the map. Moss Ravine, it's 50-50 numbers, and we'll actually probably go have a look at the fight in a minute, is being attacked by Cobalt, capture point now in the hands of Emerald. Sungry Westgate, no forces from Cobalt, they all seem to be NC Arsenal, it's been saved now at Westgate, but now 90 seconds. Black Shard Mine is 50-50 and is in the hands of Cobalt, so Emerald is losing the base. Mikhaila Tech Plant is still in the hands of Cobalt. Emerald still trying to get in and make a save, but it's very well being held onto by Cobalt. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's getting close to kind of critical here. Araxis Firearms Corp, 2 squads are constantly applying pressure on Firaxis Firearms Corp. That's got 5 minutes to go. Tumas Tech Plant, nothing's going on. Tumas Skylance, it's actually Cobalt, so there's not being attacked. The base fighting at Aramex Chemical Co, 2-1 numbers in favour of Emerald, and in Tormar Storage Yard, looks like Cobalt has population advantage over Emerald, and they are grabbing Tormar Storage Yard back. Another wave of reinforcements. This time they are not going to where the Sunder was that blocked them off. I like this spawn Sunder that's outside for Emerald Forces. That's good play there, kind of giving them a kind of quick reinforcement. And this time they've moved to the side building before they'll come out and get reinforcements. Hello.
There was some great Reaver play from Emerald here at Moss Ravine. They were flying underneath the rocks to do bombing passes through the window to get them off of the point. So that was very nice. Good airplay from them.
It's only infantry, 12 infantry here for this test outfit from Emerald that's trying to get back into the tech plant. I don't think this is enough because they're being harassed on all sides and they're kind of splitting up and then going up both staircases. Okay, no, I tell you why, they are going for the capture point, but they're being followed behind. Now the Cobalt forces on the staircase, they can come back and pick them off, and they are getting picked off. Alright, so reinforcements on the balcony for Emerald. Perhaps they came up from the other jump pad and cleared the air pad, but they're getting picked off. The medics are nowhere to be seen. More reinforcements coming from underground, but the Sunder's in the way, and it's being a nuisance. And he's using the whole back and forth roll maneuver, gets himself a bunch of kills. There needs to be a medic to res these guys. There you go, res grenade, so that's going to work in favour of Cobalt. It's close, 60 seconds to go. If I was Cobalt, taking Mikhaila Tech Plant is huge, because it's another huge, large outpost at 7 minutes of a single capture point.
More than that, if you take that, there are no more vanguards on the field.
Oh, there are, because they have the Tumas Tech Plant.
Yes, they took Tumas, never mind.
Yeah, have you seen a Vanguard yet? I don't think it really that matters that much, but it's the nature of the base. 44 seconds, big reinforcements from the Sunders. We can see it on the motion sensors for the Emerald forces on the capture point. Emerald again increasingly more desperate. At 35 seconds to go for the capture point, they now have a force that's not being molested, applying pressure on the capture point, and it looks like, is this our last 30 seconds save for... No, look at this. Reinforcements for Cobalt coming from the balcony, applying pressure from behind the Emerald forces. They're coming from behind them. They're going to take the capture point back, and there's not enough time for Emerald to get back to the capture point in time. Even with numbers, 30 seconds to go, you have to say the Mikhaila Tech Plant is going to go and fall for Cobalt. It's a lovely reinforcement play coming back from the balcony. And Cobalt's going to get the base. They saw that it was so low. And see, the numbers have gone up from a small 2-man squad. They're now platoon plus, almost 2 platoons in size. Alright, so what's going on everyone else in the map, other than giving me a heart attack here at Mikhaila?
That is, I'm just waiting for Mikhaila to cap. That's just shocking to me, it really
Emerald
is.
Air.
Oh, there we go. Cobalt takes Mikhaila Tech Plant. That is crucial. They have been on a rampage in the middle. From the Bastion, they took Araxicom Network Hub. Then they took Crux Headquarters. No one believed that would happen. Then they took Mikhaila Cart Mining and Mikhaila Tech Plant, along with the Ascent and Nevermore Station. They are still applying pressure to Araxis Farms Corp, but it looks like that's been saved with a half platoon from Emerald. And it's 30 seconds of Black Shard Tungsten Mine. And they've got over 2 squads there. There's no Cobalt to be seen on the amount of time that's left. I think Black Shard Tungsten Mine's going to fall. And they've even got air support in the air. This is
Cobalt Air is bullying Emerald Air.
Cobalt has placed, has moved everyone off of NC Arsenal, and Emerald has placed a significant force here at NC Arsenal. The air is for Cobalt is coming back in, but it looks like most of these people are inside, so I don't know how much they're going to be able to do here. But this is now the gamble that you have to take as Emerald. You have to be pushing these large 7-cap point bases, and that means that you're going to wind up losing places like Black Shard Tungsten Mine.
And with 10 seconds to go, there's no pressure on the capture point. There was lots of air. Alright, here comes one hero medic. And he wasn't able to get his heavy assault. And there's no last second gal saves or drops or whatnot. I mean, it's a fairly exposed capture point. Black Shard Tungsten Mine finally falls, and Cobalt takes it on like their 4th or 5th attempt. They could now apply. Geez, oh, they can almost warp gate Emerald. They can go for ARX, and that opens up Shadespire Farms and Jagged Lance Mine. Warp gating Emerald. Am I saying that right?
And as we speak, Tumas Tech Plant is falling.
Oh, 3 minutes 30 seconds. Armax Chemical Co. is dropping down with 90 seconds to go. We're going to go check out the Tumas. How can you go have a look at NC Arsenal for me and just tell me what's going on over there?
Arsenal has a maximum number of possible people here to save it from for Cobalt. They have 96 plus here. It's just a matter of them walking around all different points. In fact, all 3 of them are now flipping back. So that is just a massive save, and that's what this base buys you. Having a base like this, you could let them sit there for 3 minutes and just be like, well, okay, here's everybody, wipe them off the points, and it's over.
Reinforcements now at Tumas Tech Plant. They don't have the Sundra blocking the back tunnel, and this team's reinforcements are going to get on. Oh wait, no, Double Fury. That's going to be painful for these guys. Goku is getting slaughtered. Can they make it to the jump pad? They're getting a lot. Some of them are, but they are getting pretty beat up. They've brought themselves a max. They're not going to the jump pads. Emerald Forces jumping up now. Cobalt's waiting for them. It's a turkey shoot. Someone just said pull on the clay pigeon. One max getting a good couple of kills there for Emerald. And looks like they're picking off some of the rear Sunders as well.
Emerald Air, I mean.
What was Emerald Air?
Emerald Air. I haven't been able to find them for some time now.
So it's really just Cobalt Air picking on Emerald Air, yes?
Pretty much. Oh, okay, there we go. There's a small air wing for Emerald and Black Shard.
Well, with 2 minutes to go, Emerald does not want to lose Tumas Tech Plant. If we check the population numbers, it's 60-40. They are making the save. They definitely have the numbers. This is not the same as Macalla, and it looks like Emerald is going to make a successful save.
It's a lot of Reaver.
Where?
They're at Amerish, ARX, and Black Shard.
Roger that.
I don't know what they want to do with this air wing, but it is big. They're kind of just sitting there for now. I guess they're waiting on orders.
Yep, fresh set of air's been pulled. The fact is, the capture point at ARX is still ticking down. It is an underground capture point. If I can just find the entrance point, I think. There we go. So we have small squads set up in a base that air makes no difference, and I like this. Look at this. At ARX, air can't affect the capture point. They can do a little bit outside, so that they're not getting air support. Now, whether that's intentional or otherwise, it demands a squad or 2 to move into the capture point and narrow choke point and make a difference and stop it.
And Amerish ARX is, for some reason, just with the base design philosophy of Planetside 2, where you would think that the closer you get to your own warp gate, the easier it is to defend. That's exactly the opposite. The closer you get to the warp gate, if you have to take a base back that's very close, it's just the way they design things, it's not that way. And Amerish ARX is a terrible base to try and defend. It is very difficult to get onto the
Look at all these Reavers just sitting around not doing much. I mean, they see a Sunder and they go, alright, we'll pick that off. We've not really got much else to do. But it's on 1 minute 40, and there's still more infantry on the ground than there are Reavers in the sky, so they're not going to make a difference there. NC Arsenal is about to be fully saved, so potentially a fight going at Sungry Westgate, although there's a full platoon of Emerald there. Emerald's got to save at Moss Ravine, and they're possibly going to go for North Grove. Let's go have a quick look over there after the fight is concluded at ARX, depending on if there's a save or a capture. How's the south going on?
At the south, it looks like Emerald is able to hold them at most of these bases. It looks like Cobalt attempted to try and blow the SCU at Tumas Tech Plant while they still had the opportunity and did not manage to get to it. So now they're stuck outside on the wrong side of the tech plant, and they got to go push back onto the point. It's a 50-50 fight here, though, so... Oh, I'm sorry, never mind. They had blown the SU. It's very difficult to tell with these new shields that you can't see through.
Oh, so you're telling me that the spawns are dead at Tumas Tech Plant?
They were. They just got repaired now. I couldn't tell because I couldn't see the thing inside.
Well, we're currently still at Amerish ARX Reserve, right outside the Emerald Warp Gate, and 40 seconds to go. This horrendous death choke point for Emerald, and it's not doing anything, and all the Reavers are outside, and they can't help. I wonder if they're going to land and jump out. Okay, now they're being surrounded. This 1 or 2, 1.5 defensive squad from Cobalt is being picked on all sides. It's good grenade work, good engineer turret work. Alright, here comes another pressure from the other side. On 19 seconds to go, you'd have to think with this max support and this growth. This is the push. This is it. Make or break now for Emerald on the save. They're into the capture point. They're shooting from the rear. They're coming in from the narrow choke point, and this is going to be a save. A save on 7 seconds. 6 seconds.
That is so close, and so close to your warp gate. You don't want to be having to do that.
But the numbers that were pulled in, they pulled a whole platoon plus, over 1 platoon to save ARX. What does that let them do? Well,
oh, and now Tumas is ticking back down. So these guys need to. So that whole group that just resecured Amerish ARX, they have other places they need to go worry about. Probably Tumas Tech being the place that's the most.
All right, so tell you what, I'll go check Tumas Tech if you can check Macalla Tech for me. And I really want to go check Moss Ravine first, because I kept saying I was going to go do that.
Emerald and Cobalt are now fighting, duking it out over Axis firearm. Not even sure.
We need to go there in a sec. But we're looking at the capture point at Moss Ravine, and looks like the NC force that was here has been pushed off. Cobalt forces are now on the capture point, and oh, we do see some Emerald Air Force in the skies, clearing the galaxies.
Interesting. When Cobalt took this base, the Macalla Tech plant, they did not repair the shield generators, which, even though the vehicle terms are blown, it does allow very easy access now to harassers and sunderers inside for this attacking force from Emerald.
So there was an air fight at Raxus Firearms Corp?
Yep, they just came in, scattered the Emerald Air Force. Their Emerald Air Force is still around, but they're not.
So you're saying there's an Emerald Air Force was over Araxis Firearms Corp that then got scattered by the Cobalt Air Force?
Literally just happened 30 seconds ago, yeah. Cobalt seemed to have won that match.
It looks like Cobalt is got more numbers. Yeah, they're numbering 60 to 40 roughly, and they're pushing into the Charlie capture point.
Now we are seeing here good offensive from Emerald. They are attacking NC Arsenal. We're seeing them attack Macalla Tech plant. They look like they're trying to save Tumas Tech, and they were pushing Tormar Storage Yard. They have to keep doing that. They have to keep doing it the rest of this match. If they do that, it's very difficult to defend. They'll get some base somewhere, and what they would hope for is that there's a mistake, there's a wrong redeploy, and they get a really linchpin base like NC Arsenal out of it.
And they're doing a really good job with their Reavers providing close air support when they're not met by Cobalt Air Force.
That's a nice deployment, Sunder, just on the Charlie capture point. I'd like to see a light assault, however, from this group jump across and grab the C point, just to force the timer to go down faster. With regards to Tumas Tech plant, the capture point, 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go. Orders. Oh, wow. Orders are in from the Emerald Force to not repair the vehicle terminals. And okay, so there aren't really. Oh wow. Okay, there's a harasser from Yukos, I think. Anyway, the point is that the rear Sunder Bay area is being camped, but not Sunder camped. So the things come up, but lots of lasher fire and splash fire. It's very, very difficult for Emerald forces to get out of the bottom tunnels to get into the back of this the tech plant. As far as the capture point is concerned, the balcony is in a very strong position with PPA Harasser and Max and basically a Lasher firing line watching the rear. In comes like 5-6 reinforcements. They don't know what they're going into because they don't have motion on the point. And even with Max reinforcements, they're just being Lasher spammed. Okay, a lot of Maxes underneath that ground. Here they come. This is going to be a costly attempt. Oh, but look at that C4 and explosives going off, walling the first group. Okay, so some of the Maxes got through. They're trying to get to the capture point. Those Maxes are not going to get res by res grenades, however. But in comes a perfectly timed gate diffusing Fury. I wonder if this Sunder was actually kept outside and called in when Emerald made the push, because that would have been fantastic. Keeping your kind of something in reserve. And that Emerald force was pushed off. And even the ones that did make it to the jump pad, all these Cobalt forces just turned around and picked them off. You know what? I find this hard to say, but the second and tech plant for Emerald is going to be captured. Emerald's going to lose their second tech cab, and Cobalt's going to get it. I don't see how they can make a save in 20 seconds. And this force that's at Tumas Tech Plant can, in theory, go to Macalla Tech Plant. Oh wait, that's time to save. Sorry, Macalla Tech Plant isn't under contention. That's being saved in 2.5 minutes. Let's say by Cobalt, that is. So Cobalt is now in control. In the next 5 seconds, they'll be in complete control of all the tech plats on the continent. That's got to work in your favor now. You have to pull. The only way you can pull armor is from the Eastern Warp Gate. Look how far it is to get down to Barrett Electrical and RMX Chemical or Axis Firearms Corp. You simply cannot get down there to get tech. So you can get lightnings at best. At this time, I would just abuse the nutsacks out of Emerald and get Mag Riders if you wanted to apply pressure on those southern lanes. I mean, this is bad for Emerald. They need to pull it together, and they're outnumbered 2-1 again still at Araxis Farms Corp, and they're losing. Kuma's Targo facility is under attack. They've already got set up on the attack so that Emerald can't do anything at Tuma's tech plant, even if they could get in. Armex Chemical Co. looks like the fighting in the south is going back, so now it's going into Cobalt's favour. In the north, ferocious fighting going on for Sungri Westgate. Armex Chemical Co. is ticking down again, I think, although it's they're outnumbered. And Northgrove Post, alright, so Moss Ravine was saved, and Northgrove Post is ticking down. So I'm going to swing by Sungri West and go past Northgrove. If you can maybe check the Araxis Farms cap for me, or see if you can find another interesting fight.
I'm actually heading back to Makala Tech because that's where the significant Emerald force is. They're getting back onto the point right now. I'm speechless. What is going on right now is the furthest thing I could possibly have imagined from how this match would go down. I really am. I mean, kudos to Cobalt for managing to do this. You have surprised, I believe, just about everyone.
Well, here's a quote, right? You'd have to say that Emerald was pretty confident coming into here. Almost prideful. Has pride come before the fall? Or do you think they can still pull this around? Because it's getting further and further out of their hands at 55-42.
Emerald has managed to push some people back onto the point of Makala Tech plant. They have a lot of squishies here. I don't see any...
I don't see hard spawns.
I don't know if this was a galaxy drop or whatnot.
Okay, so they do have...
somewhere else.
They've got Twin Sunders on both the shield points, but Mag Rider is... okay, he's been fighting... let's see if I can't grab that fight just before they kill each other.
They did a great job sneaking some Sunders and some air into Northrop. Emerald did. Minute 40 tilt caps.
And, you know, I almost have to stop myself from saying which server's doing this, because some of this is, I'm so used to Emerald saying it, but here is a 1 of 12 fight at Araxis Firearm Corps, and it is still going in favor of Cobalt. This is a very small fight, and Emerald needs to come back and save this large facility. This is something they're used to doing.
Well, another thing, Tuma's cargo facility is also ticking down. Do you save Tuma's cargo facility first? Because, fresh Mag Rider is being pulled by Cobalt and Matella Tech Park, and they're just beginning to clear up all the spawns. The capture point is still in the hands of Emerald, but you have to question how long, just simply due to the nature of, you know, all their spawns are being taken out. And the harassers from UCAS, they're trying to be a nuisance, but they've got anti-infantry guns, and they're fighting Mag Riders. Oh, that's painful. There we go. He gets taken out.
I think if Emerald cannot get back a tech plant, ECUS becomes a huge benefit to them. They need to switch from their anti-infantry role into an anti-vehicle role. Amerish Ark's Reserve is falling again. It is 30 seconds from falling.
So's Tuma's cargo facility. It's just this red lights going on all over the board, probably on Roy's screen at the moment. He's got so many bases on low health. 45 seconds on Tuma's cargo facility, and we don't see an organised response.
Amerish Ark's Reserve is being mass resecured by Emerald at the moment. So
I have to say that...
Okay,
that's a nice bomb run. You could have done a belly skid. But is Cobalt being affected that they're not using NC? No. They have embraced the Lasher and the suppression tactics that comes with the Vanu. And case in point, Tuma's cargo facility, they're doing a great job on the roof, just suppressing anything that comes from the spawn rooms. There's no air force here for Emerald that we can see that's necessarily being as effective as Cobalt's ground suppression. I mean, we have one Reaver trying to be a nuisance, be surrounded by like 5 or 6 scythes, and they're all just kind of minding their own business, bombing the ground out of Tuma's cargo, and Tuma's cargo facility falls.
Air forces up in the north for Northrop.
Northgrove Post just captured for Emerald, but there is a significant force of Cobalt here trying to get back onto the point. The point is back in contention, so Emerald can't move forward yet unless they manage to resecure this momentarily. They did, so I want to see if they have a force ahead here.
And the fighting force that was at Tuma's Cargo, they can now move to Rax's Firearms Corp. That becomes a focal point. Quite a large one as well. Oh, hello.
The point is still back in contention at North Grove.
Yep, we're at North Grove having a look.
There's a medic, an NC medic who was sitting on top of the point, and I don't know whether it was rendering or people just didn't notice him. The VS killed all the other NC around the point, but that guy was
just still there. Okay, finally he dies. It's still a 4-minute base. Oh wait, can they not do anything? Oh, they can't do anything because Lithcorp. That's nice work there by presumably an infiltrator, although he is outnumbered. So the fact is, we can see the air fight going on above Lithcorp Fortress. Although I can only realistically see more Scythes than I can Reavers. But the capture point itself is about a small squad of backs from Emerald.
Now, here we go. This does seem to be the assault that we were waiting for from Emerald. Emerald has the point and the SCU ticking at McCullough Tech Plant. It is 2 minutes 46 to go. It does look like Cobalt is resecuring the SCU as we speak, though. I'm going to hop down in there.
It's important, and if they need to get momentum in this game, that's one of the bases they need to take back. But it's still kind of a long walk back up.
It looks like Cobalt has resecured their SCU. 223, they should be able to push people onto this point here now. I'm going to go see what they're going to have to deal with.
Now the problem with the Lithcorp Fortress capture point is it is super exposed to air. It's not a friendly non-air ground vehicle type base, and the delaying force of Emerald that was at Lithcorp Fortress is being mopped up, and the holding force at North Grove Outpost, or North Grove Post, is staying there. So there's 2+ squads staying at North Grove. There's a 50-50 fight going on in the Lithcorp Fortress. Oh, hello, incoming Reavers to Lithcorp Fortress. I wonder if there's going to be, they're paying attention.
McCullough is still under contention. This is just infantry here, though. There's no maxes, they have no vehicles here. It finally looks like Cobalt managed to get the point back. That was quite a dangerous little move that Emerald had managed to pull off, though.
Did you happen to notice that Iku's harassers, a lot of them have walkers on?
Huh. And I've heard people talking about that. I mean, the walker harasser has become something that people have started talking about.
It does decent damage to vehicles, and if you can depress it enough, you can do it to infantry.
Yeah, it seems to be doing a pretty good job, but that took me by surprise a little bit.
Ferocious air fight going on over Lithcorp Fortress at the moment.
McCullough Tech is saved.
Barry overlays are broken, make me refresh.
McCullough Tech Plant has been saved by Cobalt, and it looks like the only thing that Emerald was able to gain out of this little furious assault they've been having is North Grove Post, and they are still pushing on Lithcorp Fortress. Now that is a benefit. Lithcorp is a very difficult base to defend, especially in Server Smash with the tactics that people use, but Cobalt is definitely the advantage. They can just drop people on it when they need to and resecure the base and then go somewhere else.
So yeah, yes to your question, Maelstrom. So we're looking at the map. It looks like McCullough Tech Plant has been saved. At least we can see the numbers ticking back. Black Shard, the ARX attack by Emerald has been saved. So sorry, the Cobalt attack. So Emerald's made the save, and it looks like they're applying pressure now to Tungsten Mine. The Sungray Westgate attack has now been repulsed, and the fighting's now going at NC Arsenal. The North Grove, first of all, the Moss Ravine fight was repulsed. Then the North Grove post was taken, and those two squads can't get back because there's actually a very large NC force with air support. That's crucial now over Lithcorp Fortress, and they're just holding their ground at the moment. We see that the Cobalt Air Force has to deal with the kind of enemy anti-air Reavers of Emerald. Going further south into the base of the continent, Arax's Firearms Corp 50-50, 7-minute base. That means Cobalt's got 2 out of 3 capture points. RMX Chemical Co. in the south, 50-50 fight. However, it looks like it's going to be saved by Emerald before they perhaps make another push on Tormar Storage Yard. So right now,
Cobalt and Air Force is cutting into the Emerald Air Force at NC Arsenal. So we'll see how long, if they can hold out.
So it's the numbers are still 50-70-41. I mean, if I bring up the map timeline, we can see that, I mean, Emerald is making a small comeback, with taking one base. The fact is, if they manage to get their hands on Luthcorp Fortress, that's another positive progress. It's up to Cobalt to make the difference. Now they have more pop, and they've got the air support again now. None of Emerald's air to be seen. And you know what? Oh, there's a reinforcement push.
Back, yeah. Lithcorp just got pushed back by the Cobalt.
That's a bit, yeah, reinforcement push, pulled in the numbers, 2 to 1, taking it back.
From the high altitude drop. Cobalt is using high altitude drops like nobody's business. These galaxies.
Well, the base is saved, and
coming in at the ceiling, and then they're just dropping people all over the place.
That's one of the advantages you have of having air superiority. You can just dominate people with your galaxies.
Okay, now moving on, Macalla Tech Plant is going to be saved in about 1:40. However, it's 70-30 in favour of Cobalt, so it looks like they're about to make another attack on Macalla Tech Plant. Black Shard Tungsten Mine has been saved, and the fight is again back on Amerish ARX. So we're going to go check that. The attack on RMX Chemical Co in the south is actually taken down. Can you go check the Araxis Firearms Corp / RMX Chemical Co fight for me? And I'm going to go check the RMX ARX fight.
I'm actually at NC Arsenal right now, where all 3 points are owned by Emerald, although Cobalt is managing to take C, it looks like. No, that was just a single infiltrator, never mind. So, but this is such a pop sync here again. Even owning all 3 points, Emerald has a very long time to sit here, and all of Cobalt's air is above, just trying to take out their whatever spawns they have. Where did you want me to check?
Looks like the well, this is interesting. So the small Vanu force that was at ARX is just redeployed out. They've got their pound of flesh, they've made people spawn in, and now they've just left. So they've pulled the Air Force and like at least 2-3 squads to come to ARX, and now they just left. No, that's good enough for us, we're gone. Oh, Macalla Tech Plant, that'll be why. So this is important now for Emerald, because they're applying pressure to NC Arsenal and they're applying pressure to Macalla Tech Plant, as you were saying.
I was wondering what was going on here at Araxis. The high altitude drop galaxy brigade has arrived at Araxis, and that's where all these people are dropping from. Again, Cobalt now has all 3 points because of that.
And I just happened to be at Airmax Arcs Reserve watching the resecure, and basically as soon as they resecured, I saw everyone suicide off the point. So this is life for Emerald right now. You gotta resecure.
Okay, Tech Plant's been lost. Well, I say the attack on Macalla has been lost. It's been pushed off.
As soon as you resecure something, you gotta slash suicide and go and resecure something else, and it wears on you. It's worn on every.
Well, this is the thing. The Luthcorp Fortress fight is over. It's been saved by Cobalt. The North Grove now has half a platoon attacking it. There is a platoon plus of Emerald and Cobalt fighting NC Arsenal.
Game referee on all call. There's 1 hour remaining in the match. Now, 1 hour remaining, y'all.
Okay, that's an inside joke.
He's been threatening us with his Texan accent all day. So.
All right, yes. So we're at NC Arsenal, and the fact is, the platoon each air control as over NC Arsenal is definitely in Cobalt's hands. So that means the numbers are slightly skewed ground-wise. Actually, you know what? With 60-40, 10% can easily be the Air Force. Bravo and Alpha capture points are in hand of Cobalt, but look at these reinforcements coming in. Just Galdrop, they're TKing their own side. What's going on here? Oh wait, no, they really wanted that guy dead. Alright, moving on down.
Emerald Air Force has gotten really smart now, and now they're attacking all of the high altitude galaxies and basically saved themselves at Araxis because of it.
Oh, our favourite farmer has become the favourite farmer again. He's got top spot. Moving on to some outfits.
Emerald's doing a good job with their air, trying to hold on.
Oh, the Orion has got itself up to second spot. It's up to, but the LA Anchor is still in top position. No AV mines to be seen. In fact, no grenades at all to be seen for AV nades. And the fact is, NC Arsenal has been saved. It's just 2 platoons plus come in and made the save. They've sacrificed they've sacrificed some numbers at North Grove. Cobalt's gone there to make a save, but NC Arsenal's been saved. Macalla Tech Plant's been saved. The ARX, the cap, was obviously saved by Emerald. Now they're attacking Black Shard Tungsten Mine. But the critical thing here, constant small-scale pressure, and this is the important thing. Small-scale pressure has stayed at Firearms Corp in the south, the last large, or one of the last large outposts to Emerald, and just small-scale pressure. Okay, so they have managed to get themselves all 3 capture points, although they are slightly outnumbered. We wait for the map to load. If you're Cobalt, you could apply this, because it's on a 3.5 minute timer. You could, Or it would be 4.5, to be honest.
Now, Emerald has managed to resecure North Grove here from the attack that was going on, and this is the one benefit this far north lane has. It does, at this point, start favoring Emerald's Gate a little bit more than Cobalt's Gate, but Cobalt just... I'm looking off in the distance, and it's nothing but plasma-breathing air out there that's just waiting for everything.
We're looking at the stats here for vehicles, and the Scythe has got more than twice the kills on the Reaver. So we can tell who's got the air control at the moment.
Which is that's really
air control for the beginning.
That's really got to be concerning in multiple levels for Emerald, because we heard in the opening interviews that was one of the reasons they chose NC. They chose NC because they wanted to get the Reaver and deny the Reaver from Cobalt. Well, that does not seem to be working right now.
And with regards to RMX Chemical Coal,
Cobalt Air has been really reserved, and they were really slow to move in on Sunders, and not so this game. Their close air support this game has been phenomenal.
So I wonder how the force allocation has been applied here, but the fact is the NC Air Force from Emerald has come in to RMX Chemical Co, and they're pushing off the Vanu force. And but the fact is their numbers have increased and that popped. However, importantly, our Axis Firearms Corp, the entire defending team of Emerald left. They had it completely locked down, completely saved, but they didn't wait to the final save. They left early. Now that's not something we normally see and associate with Emerald. They left early to make a save elsewhere, and that means the two squads, two squads of Cobalt that's on our Axis Farms Corp is just there applying pressure again. And if we look over at Macalla Tech Plant, it is safe because Macalla Auxiliary Compound is being captured with 2.5 minutes to go. Blackshire Tungsten Mine 2-1 numbers. Looks like Emerald should, in theory. Can you go check Tungsten Mine and I'll go check Auxiliary Compound?
North Grove has a large contingent of Cobalt on it right there. You wanted me to check Tungsten Mine? Okay.
Yeah, I'm checking Macalla Auxiliary at the moment.
Large NC force in Mexican.
There's a lot of entry points to Macalla Auxiliary Compound, but it looks like they've still got it locked down. 2 minutes to go. There's plenty of time for Emerald to come in and make a save, although how do they make the save? Do they try and get on the roof? Do they beacon in with those light assaults and putting the beacon down? Galaxy, well, they've got a Liberator, so in theory they could get a Galaxy here if they wanted to come in from the roof.
Tungsten Mine has a very large infantry-only force of Emerald sitting on it that is actually doing fairly well against the Cobalt Air that's trying to blast them.
We're down to 90 seconds now on the auxiliary combat. They're outnumbered 2-1 now, and the fact is there's so many ways into this base for infantry just to flank from behind. It's got to be very, very hard for the Cobalt forces to take this base. But they're still down to 70 seconds though. I mean, it's a very, very impressive hold here by Cobalt, but I think the numbers now are just finally too much. And yeah, we see the first Emerald forces on the capture point, brought themselves a max, just for good measure. 3 maxes, 4 max. Wow, okay, so resource-wise, this has really paid off for Cobalt. Applying pressure on auxiliary compound, it means the tech plant is safe for an additional 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and it's wasted a good number of resources of Emerald. Blackshire Tungsten Mine is taken by Emerald.
That was Black Arrows who just took that, and there was a lot of air for Cobalt up here, but they couldn't really do anything. They, the infantry for Black Arrows just put spawn beacons down, and they lived off of spawn beacons. And here we start seeing what a lot of, this means that you didn't get here fast enough. If you can manage to get the point a couple seconds after the base flips, you needed to be here 5 seconds earlier, and this is what just happened with Cobalt. Cobalt now is trying to hold out, do the same hold that that Emerald just did to them.
And Emerald Air comes in and clears out Cobalt Air above Blackshore.
50 seconds to go on RMX Chemical Coal. It's because of the nature of the capture point and how easy it is for the Emerald forces to get to the capture point. I don't see there's enough numbers for Cobalt to keep this capture point. So I mean, it's 55 to 42. It's slowly going back in favor of Emerald. Although they're losing the capture point at Blackshire Tungsten Mine, North Grove is going down in 4 seconds.
Going on at North Grove right now. I'm trying to see if they're... Oh, yes, they just got up here. I just saw it on the mini-map. We can see if they can get it in time. They have maxes. They have infantry pushing the point. They're getting the point to flip.
Lots of Cobalt Air.
That was just human wave tactics from Emerald at North Grove right there to get back onto the point at the last moment.
It's pretty ruthless, yeah, inside the capture point. A lot of NC. I wonder if they're burning too much resources here. It's to be seen, because they are, you know, using maxes and infantry. I tell you what, it's more infantry than anything else, so maybe not. A lot of Air Force, however, it looks like Cobalt's Air Force has turned up. The fact is, reinforcements, we're seeing infantry numbers with the motion sensor for the Emerald, because McCarthy's NC. There's still lots of reinforcements, galaxies, beacons, numbers coming in. They're not leaving, they're not going anywhere. They've got air control as well. They're counter-pressuring the defensive Emerald forces now on their own capture point. This is close, because, okay, yeah, they've managed to save 60 seconds, but lots of fresh consumables and grenades are coming into this capture point, and it's beginning to, well, I say make a difference. It's not, it's mostly frag grenades, that's also very telling.
At Black Shard Tungsten Mine, it is still capping in the favor of... Actually, it just looks like the point flipped aside.
There's this is a lovely cover crate. Oh, those grenades. Oh man, I was going to say that crate. Everyone hide behind this one crate. That's not a good idea. Emerald.
Black Shard and Split. Cobalt is in North Grove with their air.
Yep, and they're slowly applying pressure into the capture point. It's a very bloody bath, although I have to think that crucially Emerald is keeping the ground, which means they can res their people back up.
It actually looks at this moment like this map might start stabilizing here for both empires, and that is probably plays into Emerald's favor, because Emerald can then look at it, take a deep breath, and say, where do we want to push
We
in?
stabilize, 50 minutes to go, what can we do, where can we go? They're saving the attack that was in Black Shard Tungsten Mine, but the problem is, now they have to go against Crux headquarters. That is a large outpost, so that's going to be very difficult. The Sungri Westgate, they have to go through NC Arsenal. That is a large outpost. The place where they've got most maneuverability is if they can get North Grove, Luthcorp, and Ickenham Garrison. That's a couple of small outposts they can get easy territory on. And I say easy because the Western Warp Gate is so close, and the fact that NC Arsenal is on their back, it's a tricky lane to push on territory. In the south, they can push Nevermore Lithcorp if they can make a full save of Araxis Farms Corp, which looks like it's going to be the first time that's happened in like half an hour. In the south, it's been a bloody battle between Aramex Chemical Co and Tormar Storage Yard. Neither team really able to get off Aramex. It's just kind of going back and forth between it and Tormar. So if the game stabilizes, you say it might play into Emerald's kind of hands, and yes, they would have stabilized rather than losing territory, but honestly, given the nature of the large facilities and tech plants that are in grasp of Cobalt, if the gameplay slows down, that's going to play into Cobalt's hands. Because, you know, they can just go and... Well, I'm not saying they need to play the defensive game, but it means that they can just go and redeploy and save the base that they need to and play it out, because they've got a huge territory advantage.
This is an interesting play at Makala Tech Plant. I said the last time that Emerald was here, they had no maxes and very few vehicles. Completely different story here. This is Ikus and Test. They have all harassers and all maxes. That's all they have.
Makala Tech Plant.
Yeah.
Right, I'll go check that in a sec. I'm currently looking at the Sungri Westgate attempted capture by Cobalt. I mean, they're on the capture point in the upper area. They don't necessarily... Yeah, they've got great air support. In the form of galaxies and whatnot.
In fact, they have so many vehicles and so many maxes that there are a couple of sneaky little VS infiltrators who keep on getting onto the point, and they managed to flip it because the only thing that's on the point was maxes.
Oh, I need to check this out.
They finally managed to kill that off, and it looks like they have some infantry, just very, very few, a couple engineers up here, but they have some evil Knievel kind of harasser antics inside here. They're jumping all over the place.
What's this medic gonna do? I tell you what, it's been cleared up slowly though. Yes, it's maxes, but the harassers are being blown up. There's only one left. They've been rocketed from all directions, and those maxes, they're not got any support. You kill off the squishies, that last engineer, and then there's no one else to stop that capture point from flipping. In fact, they're already flipping it now because they're coming in from reverse. Light assault coming around. He sees, oh look, there's an engineer. I'll just get him. There you go. Maxes don't realize what's behind them. Oh, TK.
More of a vehicle push also for Emerald this time at Lithcorp Fortress. More spawn sunders, and it looks like they're all using some form of anti-air. In fact, that's all that they've pulled. You can tell just how much Cobalt's air is affecting this match by the only thing that's out here are Walker Sunders and Skyguards. That's all they have, just to try and keep that air away from them at this base.
And Cobalt's not being on the defensive as far as Crux headquarters is concerned, they are re-attacking Black Shard Tungsten Mine. keeping Emerald on the back foot. Not necessarily able to capture the base, but they've bought themselves 2 minutes. They've got motion down, and they're forcing Emerald to pull maxes in order to give them a force multiplier to push out. But there's some relatively decent play by the Cobalt Air Force again, you know, just giving a little bit of support when necessary. And just kind of ground pounding the enemy spawns. I can see that the NC Air Force is over Crux headquarters behind us. Oh, Sungray Westgate, however, is down to 60 seconds.
There's a force of Reavers trying to blast their way inside, but I don't...
That's a lot of people inside, though. Oh, wait, Max they're dropping in from the roof. Max drops. That's a lot of numbers there.
That is so many people from Emerald.
The thing is, you gotta save Sungray Westgate. You can't lose it, because then you go into Sungray Amp Station and it's whack-a-mole with the 3 different capture points. Oh, look, the thing is, the reinforcements, they've still got their spawn sunders at Sungray. It's still 50-50. Okay, they've got themselves the capture point, but the fact is, their Air Force from Emerald isn't going to make any difference because they're all coming up from underneath. It's only at the last moment when they come up, these are kind of last air cases. I tell you what, there's a lot of air. Well, Cobalt Air could make a difference in the roof, perhaps, keep them suppressed.
Yeah, but they're at Sungray right now, not really doing a whole lot.
Oh, Lithcorp Fortress is Emerald's making a push on Lithcorp Fortress. 1 minute 40 to go.
I'm here right now, and their thing of pulling a bunch of anti-air worked well originally, but it looks like that has all been destroyed now. So the spawn sunders, the sky guards, either left or more likely were destroyed. So this allows Cobalt to come in here with their own air and kind of clear the point and spawn in. It hasn't happened yet, but it looks like they're definitely on the right track to do this. Cobalt is.
You see the radio antenna and the number of beacons. Oh, it's just a couple of beacons. It's very pretty. One EMP grenade though. And here comes the Cobalt Air Force, just harvesting the ground. And I think it's really only a matter of time, given these numbers, until the base is saved.
Wow. Those are a lot of rocket pods.
I see a lot of rocket primary happening, and I do see some grenades going off. I can only assume they're stickies and regular frags, though. So it hasn't really changed the tactics too much of doing a point clear. It just means that you have to be a little more diverse in what explosives you chuck inside.
Okay, so another interesting fact of going on the south is that with the full save of Araxis Farms Corp, Nevermore or Raven's Landing has been attacked, and that's got 2.5 minutes to go. However, crucially, Tuma's cargo facility has been attacked by Emerald, and they are 30 seconds until they get it. We do see that Cobalt's forces, unlike when they took this base, they're all over, you know, more so on the roof perhaps, or around. You can see it on the minimap, but I don't think they've got the numbers to get in on 19 seconds. And Emerald is going to make another important save. This will safeguard Araxis Farms Corp and give them the option to attack Tuma's tech plant. But again, crucially, with the Tuma's tech plant capture by Cobalt, it is a 7-minute long attack. It's very hard work for Emerald still, but fingers crossed, hopefully they can pull it off. I mean, they're definitely showing an aggressive tendency, and they're beginning to push it back. It's now 54 to 44.
Cargo by NC.
So we'll see if they can start pushing onto Tuma's tech plant. The Armax Chemical Co-Force is still going back and forth. Cobalt still got the capture point. They've got a slight popover advantage, and they're making sure the fight stays on Cobalt's forces. They're not letting them get to Tormar Storage Yard. With regards to... Now, the thing is, even if New Conglomerate from Emerald took Armax Chemical Co. and Tormar Storage Yard and woke up Watchtower, then they'd be stuck at the amp station. So right now, that would get it close, but it's not enough. I think they would have to... I think possibly if they captured every small outpost in their hands that they could possibly get their hands on, they might be able to pull it off. Or Emerald's going to have to prove themselves and show us that they can not only just capture a small outpost, but can capture a large outpost, because that's what's really significant.
Raven's Landing looked like it was resecured briefly by the VS. They had actually killed everyone off, and
the Galaxy came in reinforcements.
The Emerald Forces actually managed to get this point back by doing a very, very smart delayed respawn. In other words, they had a grenade thrown at them, but they didn't take it immediately. They waited a couple seconds until the people had walked off and managed to res some other people up, and now they've been resecured, or they've been they have more people coming in from Galaxies, and this looks like a much harder resecure for Cobalt.
Did you say Raven's Landing?
Yes. It's called Nevermore.
It's Nevermore in the Halloween patch. And we're still looking at it, 60 seconds to go. It's not like Cobalt doesn't have time to pull this off. But if we look in terms of Air Force, we're seeing actually more Emerald air in the skies than we are seeing. Well, that's what it looked like actually at the time. Okay, it's contested skies. But as far as infantry is concerned, okay, yes, here comes perhaps a large pull from the double Valkyrie. Hey Valkyrie, how you doing? And he's gone. Right, so we can see perhaps, no, the north double building is still in the hands of Emerald. So, what about the ground forces here? Are they actually moving with the max? I can see someone on the capture point. Are they contending it?
And these air engagements, at least for this match, seem less than...
Oh, big pull. Very big infantry pull going straight for the capture point. They know exactly where they're going with maxes and infantry. 19 seconds, plenty of time to run to the capture point. I'm not sure Emerald can hold on to this. No, they're being pushed. Oh, so that was a good defensive save by Cobalt. Not necessarily timing it right, but definitely sending the forces when it needed to go in. But this Emerald force, then again, it's 50-50 on the map. Maybe it's a little bit delayed. Bit of res grenade wars going on, bit of kind of grenade and frag and sticky grenades going off. It's not over yet, but the problem is there's no hard spawns. That's the crucial thing.
Now battling over Nevermore, Raven's Landing. Yeah, these air engagements are... I see very few air engagements for the sake of air engagements. They seem to be... There seems to come in to take out the close air support so that they can establish close air support. And less just... And not really just hey, let's battle with our air.
Yeah, but it looks like Cobalt's Air Force kind of got control over Nevermore.
It seems like they're still doing the bully tactic with Emerald Force. They come in, bully off Emerald, and Emerald tries it back.
Okay, so sit rep again currently on the map. Lithcourt Fort, Sungry Westgate needs to go there, although it looks like it's going to be changed. So Lithcourt Fortress under attack by Cobalt. Sorry, by Emerald. Emerald's attacking Lithcourt Fortress, but the cap point's just stopped and 3 minutes to go. So 50-50 fight, you'd have to think that Cobalt would save that. Sungry Westgate did have about a minute to go, but it looks like the forces from Emerald have made a save, so the fight is still staying on Sungry Westgate. It's off the NC Arsenal. Blackshard Tungsten Mine is being attacked by a small force of Cobalt, but it looks like Emerald will make a save, but it's keeping them off the Crux headquarters, and we have like a squad to 2 squads currently at Crux headquarters. Magala Tech Plant, Magala Auxiliary Compound is being attacked by almost half a platoon, so it looks like they really want to get Auxiliary Compound, 2 minutes to go. And with the save from Nevermore, I wonder if the forces from Nevermore will go and join the Magala Auxiliary Compound. Tuma's cargo facility was being attacked by Cobalt, but is now being saved. And Aramax Chemical Co., large reinforcement force for Cobalt, so it's, by Emerald, so it's to be seen whether or not they push for Toromar or if they push for the tech plant. I'm going to go for Auxiliary Compound, see what's going on.
I am here I'm here at Sungray West, and this was just another massive resecure.
Nobody's watching this door.
The interesting thing is, I wonder if this is part of I wonder if this is part of the group who's actually pushing on Lithcourt Fortress for Emerald, because they keep on hopping back and forth, and it might just be somebody's duty to hop over to Lithcourt when you can, and then hop over and save Sungray West.
What did you say? Yes, so an auxiliary compound, the difference compared to the previous attempt is that the vehicle terminal, either it was not destroyed or it was hacked before or whatnot, but the simple fact is this time round, the Cobalt forces have vehicles. They've got double Bulldog Sunders with a PPA Harasser, and they've got another PPA Harasser. Okay, smoke, wow, that's a lot of infantry coming in from Emerald. Smoke's being applied, I think that's possibly being applied by the Cobalt, by the Emerald forces, because it's kind of blinding the enemy. There's a lot of people with 40 seconds to go. It should be plenty of time for Emerald to make a save, in theory. They've got plenty of time to run to the capture point, and they know what's going on, and they're reinforcing with their numbers. But with 30 seconds to go, these vehicles might just buy enough time. It's to be seen. The harassers are being a right nuisance. Exceptionally good work for the PPA. Close point protection at its finest. It's designed what it's supposed to do. They're keeping control of the capture point. Only an NC Max is on the point. It's being picked off. Down to 15 seconds. There's still infantry coming in. A res grenade will make a big difference. This harasser here is worth its weight in gold at the moment, just being a supreme nuisance. kind of fending back huge numbers of NC infantry going back and forth. That Sundra over there has been great as a block, forcing the limited number of entry points. Capture point is taken. Extremely good play there by Cobalt. Extremely good tactical play with the use of vehicles as a force multiplier, stalling an extra 60 seconds, and it means they get Macalla Auxiliary Compound, and they safeguard Macalla Tech Plant. The Black Shard Tungsten Mine is in 60 seconds to go. I wonder if our Axicom substation is going to get attacked from the other side. I mean, it's to be seen. Right, but anyway, we're going to go to Black Shard.
I'm heading down to Tumas Tech Plant to see the group that just is attacking there. So because they have connection in from Tumas Cargo Facility, this is looks like a 50-50 fight down there. And then also Tormir Storage Yard keeps on going back and forth, and that seems to be another place that Emerald is gaining territory. However, that Black Shard Tungsten Mine does also look very dangerous.
Cthulhu in the chat notes that Cobalt's battle plan did not take into account actual winning. So, so they get to this point, they're winning. Now what do we do? But hey, I give it to them. They are doing a job.
As I said, I mean,
we're still trying to hold on. They're doing well, trying to.
Well, they're trading bases rather than they've stopped the onslaught from Cobalt, and now they're just trading bases back and forth.
These Cobalt Air Wolves are doing numbers on them. Yeah,
the Cobalt Air Force has turned up just a little bit too late to Tungsten Black Shard Mine. The fact that Emerald was able to get to the capture point now, if reinforcements can come in for Cobalt on the capture point, then that amount of ground pounding by closer, yeah, look at that number of infantry there. That's got to be on the capture point. Capture point's recaptured. They've brought in large reinforcements. Black Shard Tungsten Mine. I don't see how Emerald can make a save here because just the sheer numbers on the minimap. We have Reaver reinforcements coming in now to Black Shard Tungsten Mine, trying to clear off the enemy air or the galaxies, but they're tangled with the scythes in the skies at the moment. So the initial ground pounding was enough to get reinforcements by Cobalt on the point. They've got it, and it's 60 seconds to go. Now the air fight's going on the skies. Both teams, well, I take that back. Actually, there's enough of the Cobalt forces to keep pounding the ground. The Reavers have been lured away back to the warp gate, fighting perhaps up in the skies. They're not making any difference right now on the ground. And given the sheer number of reinforcements that's come in for Cobalt, Cobalt's in a fantastic reinforcement redeployment site because there's only a 1-2 squads here that's found this base. Now this is going to be at least a platoon, which it is, platoon plus, and they're up to, whoa, hello Reaver, and they're down to 35 seconds. Valkyrie makes a hero drop.
Oh, this is a last minute second. Oh, are they going to get there in time? They are not. That was a last minute charge by Cobalt to try and save this base down here at Tormir Storage Yard. And this is a matter, again, this is now the second time we've seen Cobalt be just 5 seconds too late getting to a base with their people. They managed to contest the point, but not quite soon enough. And actually, they're getting wiped out by a smaller force on the point here.
A Valkyrie / Galaxy drop on the capture point at Black Shard Tungsten Yard is buying precious time. But this forces of... Oh, that's a big res grenade. Everyone good? Everyone up? Everyone down? Everyone up? And everyone down. Okay, so the res grenades are going off. Who's got the most ammo? Who's got ammo in the clips? It's a smorgasbord in the capture room, but the fact is the capture point is still in the hands of Cobalt. And with 15 seconds to go, don't see how Emerald is going to be able to make a save. No. Oh wait, is that another res? Yes, another res for the NC. God, imagine the chaos here.
The walk-hook lane, even though there is territory to be gained here from Emerald's standpoint, I think if I were Cobalt, I might just be saying, you know what, we have an old-style amp station at the back end of this. We know we can defend that. Let them take these 2 points down here, and we're going to push somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah, because even if they lose the south and back to Wokok Amp Station, so long as they come in and save Tumas Tech Plant, so a Tumas Tech Plant save and a Wokok Amp Station save, those are 2 long 7-minute base captures that can be defended in the south. You obviously don't give the bases away for free and you make them burn time. There's only 33 minutes left in the game, but at the same time you apply pressure elsewhere. So they're making a save in Nevermore Raven's Landing so they can go for Raxus Farms Corp again. Or they're losing Macalla Auxiliary Compound because all the forces probably were redeployed to Tungsten Mine, which is quite possibly the case. Now the fact they've taken Tungsten Mine, they've crucially taken a base and now they're going to take another base back, i.e. the Macalla Auxiliary Compound. I imagine they're going to save that. There's a small force being a nuisance at Amerish ARX. That means that the Black Shard Tungsten Mine itself can't be kind of messed with. At Sungri Westgate, small number of forces preventing any attack on NC Arsenal, and Lithcourt Fortress is saved, and Northgrove Post is being attacked. but they are outnumbered 2-1, and those are platoon-sized numbers there going on the north. But it's just chewing up numbers of Emerald. Now, the thing that Emerald's got going for it is the fact that it is attacking the tech plant and Wokuck Watchtower. So I'm going to go down to the south and see what's going on. This is, kind of an important play for them. They need to really get their hands on it. But even if they get themselves Tumas tech plant, it doesn't open up multiple lanes. If you know what I mean. Like if you were to take Araxis Firearms Corp, if you were Cobalt, it opens up 3 potential lanes. But the problem is it's not the same for Emerald. So when Emerald pushes a base, they're only really pushing from one base to one base at a time. It doesn't open up multiple lanes, so they can attack multiple places at the same time and try and get territory back quicker.
Unless they take Woke, which opens up 2 lanes, which is better than 1.
Right. Yes, and it's interesting. You see this Tumas tech plant cap going, and it's obvious that Cobalt at this point is just saying, let him sit there for at least a couple more minutes. Maybe you get back in time to save your SCU, but that's really the only thing you care about, because it's 4 minutes, and
but
time you can get Amerish Arcs Reserve, which is far more valuable to you if you can manage to do that and then redeploy and get down to Tumas.
See, we're at Tumas tech plant right now, and I don't see how, if a serious redeployment happens to save this tech plant, how anything can change. This is 2 squads, possibly, just about 2 squads. Now we have the numbers are in on the minimap for Cobalt, so they've come in with an equal force, and Galaxy whatnot. But the fact is, the attackers don't have any force multipliers. There are no maxes. There's no motion sensors, or I can only see tracer darts, and they don't have any vehicles. And now we just have a double Sunder crash in the back bay area, and with twin repair Sunders perhaps? Oh, she's not diffused in, but the fact is, they're not going to hold it for 3.5 minutes. This would be a miracle if Emerald could hold this. I don't see them having the force multipliers to sustain a hold.
It's back to 90 seconds at Amerish Arc Reserve, and there's a large max crash coming in here, but there is a very good hold going on from
ARX?
Cobalt.
I need to go check that out. I'm fairly certain the tech plant, has already been saved, so it's a successful counter push with vehicles and whatnot. And the tech plant was a nuisance. It pulled a lot of Cobalt's forces away, but Cobalt can afford that. I mean, it's the nature of the 7-minute base capture. As long as they come in and whack it and save, and it's fine. Oh, there we go.
Unfortunately, the Cobalt guys didn't have very much max protection here, so
but ARX, they've been pushed around.
But
still got the point though. 55 seconds to go, and they're still in fairly good positions. They've got C4 ready. Even the heavy assaults have got C4. Now that's interesting. They're not going with medkits for the extra anti-max play or whatnot. But the main push isn't coming from the staircase. It's coming from the tunnel, and 30 seconds to go, and I think this is it. So these Cobalt guys are doing a good job at just drawing off large number of Cobalt reinforcements, and it's 2-1 numbers, and ARX has been saved. But those numbers can't be applied at Sungri Westgate, and Sungri Westgate is at 40 seconds to go. So Cobalt Valkyrie from above, it's not going to give them maxes, it's going to give them infantry spawn-ins. Grenade and a max watching the staircase, so they can't get in that way. Capture point 30 seconds. It's still plenty of time from Emerald in theory to run to the capture point, although getting from the spawn room to here is actually pretty tricky. It needs like an air kind of move. Oh, there we go. Coming from the stairs, on the point. Grenades going everywhere, but it's just enough, I reckon. Yeah, so it's, the thing is, when they get onto the point, when they make a breach from one area, they're able to just pull everyone back and it just kind of totally collapses. Although, somehow, it wasn't 10 seconds, it was actually continuing to tick down. So now there's way more reinforcements by Goku from Emerald, and now it really, really is secure for reals this time. But that was interesting how it kind of did go back there for a moment and went a bit closer than it really should have. North Grove Post has been saved by Cobalt, and looks like they're applying pressure on Lithcorp Fortress. 2 minutes to go on that base.
Yes, and they have Cobalt has saved their southern lane down at Wokuck Watchtower, and that seemed to be a large force. And it also looks like Emerald pulled its people off of that lane. I'm trying to figure out where they might have moved them to. I don't know whether it's maybe auxiliary compound or maybe those are the people who secured Arcs Reserve.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's a large reinforcement push. I mean, look, they're up to half a platoon, maybe bordering on just under a full platoon of NC, and they're moving into defensive positions now at a Lithcourt Fortress. So they've decided to make a big play to take Lithcourt Fort. Macalla Auxiliary Compound has been saved by Cobalt.
28 minutes remaining in the match. Now, 28 minutes remaining.
Wolcott Watchtower has been saved and is about to be fully saved, and look, they've got half a squad ready at Tormar, so the force of NC that's on the south is totally not there anymore. The Tumas Tech Plant is about to be fully saved and quite possibly going to go to Tumas Cargo Facility. There's a small nuisance cap going at Araxis Firearms Corp. There was a small nuisance cap going at Araxicom Substation, and the Araxicom Substation is preventing any fighting that goes on the Auxiliary Compound. The ARX was so close, it's 4 minutes where Cobalt doesn't need to be anywhere near Black Shard Tungsten Mine and just, let Emerald stay at ARX. I don't believe it. Is that the Sungri Westgate going back in favour of... Can you check the Sungri Westgate for me?
I'm actually at Lithcourt Fortress right now, which is still in the hands of Emerald. They are getting hammered by a decent amount of Cobalt Air, but not enough to kick them off the point here.
No, but they've got infantry coming in from the east side.
Squad coming from the side, yeah.
It's just the nature of the space. It's too easy for Cobalt's Air Force to come in and just not necessarily kill off everybody on the capture point, but they can soften it up to the point where when your infantry comes in, you just pick them off.
Yep,
They've still got the capture point though. I mean, it's kind of back and forth, but so many reinforcements for Cobalt coming in from both sides, including gala drops.
Was briefly flipping the point here at Sungri Westgate, and there is an insane number of people again at this base. It looks like they finally managed to resecure this again.
Lots of Emerald Air here.
30 seconds again. A big reinforcement drive, and this is important because this counter push right now that forced the Emerald team to come back and make a save on Sungri Westgate. They could have theoretically reinforced Lithcourt Fortress and got it closer, but because of the cap at Westgate, it forced Emerald to go on the defensive rather than the offensive at Lithcourt Fortress. And now, okay, Cobalt has got themselves a save in Lithcourt Fort, but they're still keeping pressure on Sungri West. And they're also attacking ARX, but its numbers are roughly 50-50. Macalla Auxiliary Compound, there's nothing that goes on there because it's all going on at Araxicom Substation, which will go next. There's still a small fight going on at Araxis Firearms Corp. Tumas Tech Plant is back in the hands of Emerald attack with 4.5 minutes to go, and Tormar Storage Yard is under attack by a 2-to-1 force number of Cobalt. So Cobalt is actually attacking. Oh, is there an infiltrator here before we leave? Oh, there's a heavy assault on the point at Sungri Westgate. There's 2 heavy assaults. So the entire NC force was about to leave, but it's back to 55 seconds. 2 guys have killed the point. So now they're coming back. And they're picking off the lives and making reses. This is just stalling. Oh, Emerald. Okay, Jackhammer. He's gone. Oh no, the squad reinforcements. They actually come back to the capture point. They've got their hands on the control point. This is interesting. A small squad managed to insert themselves at Sungri Westgate. Who are these guys? I can't. Stop moving. RMIS, don't have the name for that, sorry. But the fact is, they're on the point, 30 seconds to go. It's the 3rd time this base has gone to 30 seconds in like the last 2 minutes. And this is super close. There's a huge run-in from from Emerald. We can see this coming up the stairs. They should be able to save this, and it looks like they are. But the fact is, that small squad of 12 people brought in like 3 squads of Emerald to make a save. So I mean, again, that's another really good, very annoying offensive play by Cobalt. And I'm going to go have to check out Rexy.
Emerald has the point at Tumas Tech Plant, and it basically looks like Cobalt was just sitting here protecting their SCU, waiting for more people to be able to spawn in, and this is probably the point where they're going to come in and resecure this tech plant again.
With regards to Araxicom Substation, it's telling because the New Conglomerate Emerald forces, they have maxes, but they are burster maxes, and they're simply to keep the air at bay to allow their infantry to push on the capture point. It's a super exposed capture point, and with 70 seconds to go, it is in the hands of Cobalt still. Emerald is getting very close to the capture point, possibly to the point where they can make a difference, but no, here in comes some of Cobalt's Air Force. And they're trying to flank around behind maybe with an infiltrator. Close to 60 seconds. 60 seconds should be more than enough time for Emerald to kind of surround the capture point and pick off any of the Emerald forces. Any of the Cobalt forces. Okay, here comes the proper air hammer from Cobalt. One thing we're actually properly missing, however, is a hard spawn. There's no Sunder for the Cobalt forces. If you had a Sunder, this would be... Oh yeah, they do have a beacon, however, but if they had a Sunder, it would make life a lot easier.
Emerald was doing a very, very good balcony hold at, actually they still are doing it at Tumas Tech Plant, and there was some flanking attempted here up the stairs by Cobalt. It looks like they're finally managing to flip the points. They must have just pushed everyone through, and they also lost the balcony as well. But that was pretty darn close for as small of a group of Emerald as were here, and they had very few maxes and no Sunderers or anything up into the Tech Plant itself. But
okay, so
Tumas Tech is saved.
The ground support from the scythes here is absolutely brutal. There is a massive number of infantry coming into the capture point, but they are just being slaughtered by the Cobalt Air Force. Now they are going to make it to the capture point because there's just so many of them. They should have brought Banshees, but they didn't. So anyway, the point is they're on the capture point and they're just overwhelming the attackers of Cobalt, and they were within about 20 seconds of the point, but they are just being absolutely mollified by ground attacks. So yes, they got to the capture point, but the fact is they're just being annihilated. They're all clumping up the capture point. It's on a 5-second timer. The beacon for the Cobalt forces is still there, so if this Air Force can continue to clean up and just kill off everything that's coming onto the point, too many res grenades, I think. Even with all the kills being racked up, I think there's just too many res grenades and everyone can be kept alive. And this is not enough infantry, and there's not enough Sunder, like kind of a hard spawn, so... Poor Valkyrie. So, but the thing is, this is what? How many people? Over a platoon has had to be committed to save Araxicum substation, which means the... where are they losing elsewhere? So they're losing at Tormar Storage, so Cobalt is taking Tormar Storage. They're still applying pressure... Oh wait, no, sorry, they've lost attack on Tumas Tech Plant, so Cobalt's make a save. Cobalt's still making attack on Araxis Firearms Corp, so Emerald needs to save that. Emerald has saved Araxicum substation on the 5-second marker. Sungria Westgate is being saved still by the new conglomerate, 2 half platoons going at it, possibly full platoons, and a half, 2 squads, possibly 1 to 2 squads at North Grove. I'm going to go check that one out. For Cobalt taking the base off of Emerald, that is.
That Araxicum push, even though they managed to get it back and get the point back, Emerald still had to fight for at least a good another 20-30 seconds, just because there was so much air around. And actually, there's another Galaxy coming back in right now for Cobalt. It's such an open cap point base, and that is a huge advantage if you can use your air to nail those people on the open cap point base. And here comes Cobalt again, trying to get back on this point. I think they did finally get mopped up here eventually.
Alright, 20 mega marker. We'll just have a quick look at some stats. There's your map timeline for you guys. We can see Cobalt was running away with it for a little while, and then Emerald started to pull it back, and now we're kind of in the stalemate scenario at the moment. Kill graph, both teams reasonably close, within 1 or 2k of each other, so it's nothing really too much, but we've even had server smashes where the winning team actually had fewer kills, but it's just kind of an indication of the kind of level of ferocity that's been going on.
Yeah, last match was neck and neck, wasn't it?
It was very, very close. First time I've ever seen that. Normally the dominant server is the one with the highest kills, but it was odd because last time the dominant server was the one with the fewest kills. Here we have the leaderboard, surprise, surprise, and we'll just show some.
And Tormar Storage captures in favor of Cobalt down in the far south.
So they did take it back. There wasn't any real resistance from the Emerald, and they've already started the attack on our Aramax Chemical Co now. And the fact is, the Araxis Firearms Corps is getting very close as well, and they're also super close at 45 seconds in North Grove as well. The Anchor is still on top. Ryan is just behind in second place, followed by the SVA ATA. Then comes Cyclone and the EM6. So I think heavy assault forces are being used. If you combine the heavy assault weaponry, it looks like Cobalt's making more use of the twin weaponry. And vehicles, wow, there's just a huge gap between the Scythes and Reavers in terms of kills. Very few heavy tanks though. Only a couple of kills to the Magra and the Vanguard.
Emerald is finally coming back in to re-secure Araxis Firearm Corps. They are pushing 2 points at once here, so this is going to stop the cap. But it got down to 2 minutes, and this is the kind of thing, is there another fire burning these guys have to go and put out and allow Cobalt to come back and get this.
Well, Emerald just lost North Grove Post. Cobalt make the save. There was quite a lot of kind of close fighting. Engineer was on the point, but it simply wasn't enough. There's too many of Cobalt's forces on the point. So another base goes for Cobalt. By the way, in case you're wondering, Beamer is on 11, Candy Cannon is on 2. So it's definitely better than something else. The Araxis Firearms Corp cap has been saved by Cobalt. The Araxicom substation is almost fully saved, and then soon they'll be able to attack McKell Auxiliary Compound. In the north, Moss Ravine is already under contention and flipping, and it looks like NC Arsenal is possibly being fought over, because we see this half a platoon from Emerald on NC Arsenal. Amerish ARX is being attacked by a smaller force from Cobalt. We're going to go check the Moss Ravine fight. The fact is, Cobalt tried to take this base a number of times in the beginning, in the first half hour, but was unsuccessful and unable to pull it off. We'll see if they're able to pull it this time.
Down at Airmax Chemical Corps, a little bit larger of a force of Emerald managed to come back and resecure this, and even though it's a 50-50 fight at Tumas Tech, that is also being resecured for Cobalt at the same time. And what did I say? Where did those people have to go to at Araxis Firearm Corps? It is back-ticking in Cobalt's favor, and I wonder if that's because they sent reinforcements in to come cap it, or if Emerald just had to go put out something else and move their people off after getting 2 points back. 3 points held with 90 seconds remaining on Araxis Firearm Corps, and I do not see a large force of Emerald yet spawning back in.
And Moss Ravine, looks like, I mean, it's under heavy contention. First of all, I tell you what, there was twin NC Sunders outside for Emerald, but they've been cleaned up now. A mixture of Sunders for the Cobalt forces, and it looks like they're bringing in a lot of Sunders, Repair Sunders, Furies. It looks like it's all Furies. Yep, Furies, Cobalts, and possibly 1 or 2 Bulldogs. No, I don't see any Bulldogs. And with Lasher suppression forces and the Sunders just kind of keeping the Emerald force at bay, this is an exceptionally powerful force multiplier. If they can get air control, and I can see that the air is actually possibly fighting in the skies, or busy in their own little thing at the moment with the Reaver Flay. But the fact is, this force multiplier for these number of Sunders is huge. I can see that the Emerald forces are trying to go around them on the hillside. They've been spotted, however. Very awkward run. They can, however, get into the capture point. It really depends how much infantry that Cobalt is left on the point. A full squad going for the capture point. We'll have to see what's on the inside. That could have them across some resistance. They are waiting for them. Oh, and they're being shot from above. Lasher fire and suppression. The small squad didn't even get into the capture point. Okay, more reinforcements coming in. Go ahead.
Emerald did send people back to Araxis Firearm Corps. It got down to about a minute on the capture point, and they did manage to come back and save it. But do they have to go somewhere else? Are they going to get called to go to Moss Ravine, or are they going to get called to go to Amerish Arcs?
15 minutes remaining in the match. Now, 15 minutes remaining.
I think with this much remaining, the question is no longer can Emerald pull out a win here. The question is, can Cobalt get 60% territory? And I guarantee you that is what Cobalt is aiming for, with the amount of smack talk and things that had happened before this match. So those are the things. If you're Emerald, you need to be playing for pride now. You need to be trying to stop whatever damage is happening and take back.
Well, you need to save your own bases first, and that's the catch. They are trying very, very hard to get to the capture point, but this force multiplier of Sunderers and just it's forcing the Emerald team to go way around to the capture point to try and come in from behind the Sunderers, and then all that the Cobalt forces are doing is just suppressing this choke point of where the the Emerald guys are coming in from. It's just not going to work. That was a Galaxy overhead. I wonder, did they drop anyone? Yeah, they did drop a squad on the roof. They're making fairly good. No. Yeah, they were making. Oh wow, guys trying to get a pistol kill. Double res grenades for both factions.
On Moss Ravine, and it's a resonating.
Brutal war on the balcony, yeah, but they are at the capture point. That's the important thing. Emerald, they're nearly there. They're just not enough people, and reinforcements are coming in for the Cobalt forces. They realize that the threat's on the capture point. 15 seconds to go. Get everyone on the cap point. Just run back. And the simple case is now a battle of who's got most bodies on the capture point. I mean, what do you do when you're heavy assault like 9 people and a 2 maxes just run up the stairs? You simply can't kill them quick enough. And I think Cobalt's finally going to get Moss Ravine. Yes, so Cobalt finally gets Moss Ravine, so it's congrats to Cobalt. And now the fact is, Cobalt can apply pressure not only at Sungray Westgate, but also Sungray Power Hub. And Sungray Power Hub is brilliant for air suppression on the capture point. It's so exposed, you have to think that if Cobalt seriously goes for Power Hub, they'd make a difference. And oh, Cobalt is too late. Sorry, Emerald is too late with their Sunder/Lightning push that was designed, probably pulled from Power Hub, and it was there to get rid of the Sunders to allow their infantry to get to the capture point. Now the fact is, they have got vehicles, they are here, that's great for them. They need to get on the capture point before somebody from Cobalt gets on the Sungray Power Hub. Now, moving on, look at the rest of the map briefly. ARX is saved. Blackshear Tungsten Mine's been attacked by a half platoon, if not more. Macalla Auxiliary Compound was about... Oh, it's just being attacked by 2 half platoons, so it's 50-50 Macalla Auxiliary Compound. Arax's Firearms is 50-50, going in favour of the Defender's Emerald. Aramax Chemical Co. was taken by Cobalt, so they've been trying to do that for a while, and now they're fighting Barrack Electrical Station. That's not something they haven't done for the whole fight since the very beginning. They're on 61% Redolent.
That is insane. I mean, there is... I think that Cobalt took offense to saying that they were the underdog. You know, they are proving that they are not the underdog. This is... I don't even know if Cobalt, in their wildest dreams, could have imagined this match going the way it has. And you look with almost 10 minutes remaining in this match, you look, you know, Tumas Cargo has to get saved by Emerald, Firearms has to get saved by Emerald, Barrack Electrical has to get saved by Emerald, Sungray Westgate and Sungray Power Hub, and at any moment Cobalt could say everyone go to the Warp Gate and just drop on Ark's Reserve, and that's a lot of fires to put out, and it's really hard to push out and gain territory when that much stuff is ticking against you.
And you can tell that Cobalt definitely earned it. The way they played today, they earned it.
Yeah, and the 60 seconds again, oh man, they have so many people on Sungray Westgate again. I don't know how Cobalt is going to lose this. I don't know how Emerald's able to get in. And previous attempts at 30-second marker, it would always fewer numbers, and Emerald was always able to get in a large number out of a max crash or a push number, but this is a huge number of people, and it's just falling apart now for Emerald. It's not going the other way where they're, you know, they're grabbing bases. They're losing more and more bases now. We go into the final 10 minutes. I wonder if Emerald has given up. They just said, we've lost, that's it, let's just give up. Or are they actually staying because they're going to lose Sungray Westgate for the first time now in this entire game? Oh wait, no, I take that back. They are getting numbers. They are maxes on the capture point. It is super close. I think they may... Okay, so this is a very important... No, he's down. Got a good rocket at the back.
This is, you know, all other servers have had to face this, you know, in their losses of how do you rebound, how do you get morale back up, how do you get everyone... I mean, you know, in the end it is a video game. How do you
close, but Sungray West is taken by Cobalt, so Cobalt is now on the doorstep of Sungray. They were about to attack Sungray Power Hub, but they lost Moss Ravine, so that's a nice play there by Emerald, counter-attacking on Moss Ravine, preventing the Power Hub, a cap, from going through.
Emerald did manage to also save Tumas Cargo Facility and Araxis Firearm Corps. I don't know if there's enough time remaining in the match for them to fully resecure Tumas Cargo Facility and capture Tumas Tech Plant, even if nobody stopped them. I don't know, you know, if they got that back in time to do it. So that seems like a strange base to save if you could have, for instance, saved Sungray West.
I'm currently looking at Moss Ravine, where... Oh, you see the small 1-2 squad of Emerald tried to take down the shield Sunder that was deployed on the west side of the base away from the spawn room so they wouldn't get attacked from both sides. But the problem is they split their forces on the capture point and going after the Sunder, and it simply wasn't enough. And then in came the Emerald forces with twice their numbers, and they're cleaning up the Moss Ravine, and they're ready with numbers on Power Hub to just take it. and you'd think with the Air Force they'll take it. And then Black Shard mine has been saved, 2 minutes until a full save. McCall Auxiliary Compound is safe and fine. The fighting at Firaxis Farm Corp is still ongoing. Tumas Cargo Facility is being saved by Emerald, so that's stopped. Barrack Electrical, however, it's still taking time. Go check that down in the south.
Electrical has multiple vehicles on the point, making this a hellish resecure if Emerald's going to come in here and try this. There's multiple Sunders. Actually, we might have 2 Sunders fighting on the point here in a moment. Emerald is trying to push down and get to the point, and I think they're trying to get a Sunder down in it too.
It's in my way. Get out of the way. Thank you. Oh, but yeah, it's a big resecure push by Emerald, and we can see the Sunders are kind of effective force multipliers for Cobalt. But it's not enough.
The Emerald Sunder is coming down. We might get to see 2 Sunders fight on the A point of Barrack Electrical. Oh, unfortunately, the one got blown up before it got there. But
no, but this looks like a successful save, at least for the time being, by Emerald. But the thing is, how much did it cost them in terms of numbers? Look, they're out and popping their enemy by 70 to 30. I mean, that's big numbers. That could be fighting elsewhere.
Now is ticking in favor of Cobalt. This was the danger of losing any of those connecting bases.
Yeah, so, and it's going to be Whack-A-Mole and Sungri Amp Station, and Sungri Power Hub is also ticking down, which means Moss Ravine is safe. Now, what can be captured in this last 7 minutes? Well, theoretically, every base is possibly under contention, but as soon as we get under the 7-minute marker, that's going to start limiting base options.
Justicia on all call. 7 minutes remaining in the match. Now, 7 minutes remaining.
Now, if Cobalt wanted to use their Air Force, it'd be perfect timing to use it in Sungri Power Hub. This is the perfect location.
I have a sneaking suspicion. I have a sneaking suspicion that what Cobalt is going to push for here in the last 7 minutes is either getting Sungray or getting Amerish Arcs Reserve. It's just rubbing their noses in it at this point. You know, there's nothing that they can take in the south that will mean really much of anything as far as territory goes in the time remaining. Whereas if you can take their amp station from them, if you could take the territory directly outside of their warp gate, it's really just rubbing their noses in it at this point. 62
to 36. It looks like there's sufficient numbers here. There's no Air Force from Emerald currently over Sungri Power Hub. The Cobalt forces, they're keeping a defense away from the capture point because they know they're not going to be bombed, although they don't have their own Air Force overhead. That would make life a lot easier. They're currently kind of fending the Cobalt forces at bay from their spawn room. Looks like Cobalt's pulling a couple of Sunders, maybe a Galaxy to go around. Still 2 minutes to go. If they're going to get Sungri Amp Station, they'll need to get all 3 capture points soon. They are applying pressure on Amerish ARX. Araxis Farms Corp, they need all 3 capture points really to push that, and even then, it's unlikely that will go through. Tumas Cargo Facility is possibly quasi being attacked. They kind of slightly got numbers. Barrack Electrical has been fully saved in about 10 seconds by Emerald, even though Cobalt has more numbers. Tumas Cargo Facility is being ticked down. When we get to the 4-hour minute marker, we'll start calling out bases that are going to be left in contention. Now, with regards to Sungri Power Hub, it looks like Emerald's still having difficulty getting to the capture point. This one max, simply because of the nature of being tanky as a max, got to the capture point, but nah. There was a max for Cobalt waiting. In fact, Cobalt's reinforcing. We can tell by the numbers they're pulling in more people, and there's nothing for Emerald here. I think they might even throw this base away. They're focusing more on Sungri Amp Station. They look at that. Full platoon to 2 platoons for Emerald is defending against Cobalt at Sungri Amp Station. They're not making a save at Sungri Power Hub. Triple Sunder play is coming into contention to get rid of the spawn Sunders, but with 50 seconds to go, this kind of play, while useful, it doesn't matter unless there's a form of infantry support to take the capture point, because yes, you'll kill off the external spawns, but you'll lose the base.
Interestingly, a large force of Cobalt has pushed onto Amerish Arcs Reserve. I'm expecting a gigantic resecure from Emerald at any moment, but this is the kind of base. In fact, here it comes. There's a whole bunch of maxes coming down, and I'm just wondering if Cobalt is using the danger of this base falling so close to the warp gate as, okay, everyone go there and resecure it, because
are you going to lose and be warp gate? Not necessarily fully warp gated, but you've lost the base next to your warp gate. Does that hurt more?
Justicia on all call. 4 minutes remaining in the match. Now, okay. 4 minutes remaining. So it's almost over, guys.
Sungri Power Hub is going to be captured by Cobalt. Some of the Air Force did turn up in the end. Kane got it. They got credit. Sungri Amp Station, theoretically couldn't be captured, but now it can be captured because of Pangre Hub, but I don't know if there's enough time if they grab all 3 capture points. I don't think so. Sungri Westgate has been ticked down. That theory can just by about 30 seconds. Other bases are in contention. Macau Auxiliary Compound can be captured. Araxis Farms Corp can no longer be captured. Tumas Cargo Facility can be captured, so I'm going to go there now. Barrack Electrical can also just be captured as well. So there are a number of bases that are still in contention, and this is really firefighting for Emerald, because Emerald, I think, can attack one base, but they're really defending everywhere else.
They did do a massive resecure at Amerish Arcs, and that is it's such a good carrot and stick to use against them right now. Just threaten that, and even if you don't ever expect to get it, you're going to pull so many people away from the danger of it that you can resecure other bases and take whatever else is still ticking. And you can see that the Cobalt has moved people onto Barrack Electrical. They look like they're almost moments away from getting Tumas Cargo Facility. And at this point, it's just GG.
With 45 seconds to go, though, the fact is, it's harder time for reinforcements from Cobalt to get to the capture point. And Emerald is beginning to get back into the point, but with 35 seconds to go, they're slowly beginning to... Yeah, they got numbers here, and then they're going to take it. They're going to make a save, I think. I don't see how Cobalt can take this, and they need a lot more people to get inside and get on the capture point.
Yeah, Auxiliary has been secured by Cobalt and Macala.
It's contentious. The extra reinforcement wave came in for Cobalt, but the problem is that extra kind of grouping on the north is going to keep them off the capture point. This is just going to keep going back and forth. It is very close at 30 seconds, but no, it looks like the numbers on the minimap shows that Emerald will make a save of Tumas Cargo Facility. Right, everywhere else in the base...
2 minutes remaining.
Barrack Electrical is the next base that's theoretically under contention that can be captured, so we're going to check that one out.
So just under 2 minutes now.
Emerald is...
so many Sunders on Barrack Electrical covering all the entrances. This is going to be horrendous 80 seconds. They're beginning to spawn in the spawn room now, we can see that. Tumas Cargo Facility is not going to be able to be captured anymore. Macau Auxiliary Compound can't be captured. Sungri Westgate... Oh my goodness, Justicia, can that be captured? Because
only 2 bases can be captured at this point: Sungri Westgate and Barrack Electrical Station.
There you go, you heard the man.
Cobalt is trying to resecure Sungri Westgate right now.
I mean, Sungri Westgate is on the second. I mean, that is literally on the second. They need to stall for 1 second and then it doesn't count.
They're stalling it now.
Big max crash coming at Barrack Electrical. This is a big push. This is probably the entire Cobalt force in the south, possibly south and middle, and they're spreading between the north and the south entrances. However, it's a lot. It's huge max pool, but they have 30 seconds to get here, and these Sunders are going to buy time. Heck, these Sunders might even try and run them over. Here they come. Plenty of time to get the capture point. Here comes the race. Oh, the Sunders are coming in. Yeah, he's doing the run over maneuver, so he's trying to run them over by time. What about the other side? It looks like they're fending them off briefly. It's an absolute bloodbath on this bend of Lasher and shotgun fire. The Sunders are definitely buying their weight in gold there with kind of force multiplier. 10 seconds to go. The Cobalt forces, they're being pushed back to the capture point. 6 seconds to go. Can they get this base? They're being flipped to the point. 2 seconds, 1 second. Not enough Cobalt. Cobalt takes it. Emerald didn't have enough people. That was super close, and the fact there's not enough time now for Cobalt to lose the space for Emerald to get it back.
10,
5 seconds to go. Here we go.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of match. End of match. With the result of 64 against 33, Cobalt wins the final match. Congratulations, Cobalt.
There you have it. Cobalt are our champions, Redolin.
Wow.
Nobody thought that would happen, and there we go. Cobalt are the champions, and not only the champions, they are the champions at 64 to 33, twice the territory of Emerald.
This was a...
It's an upset.
It is an upset, but I don't even know if you can necessarily call it that. I mean, even Emerald said that they were scared of Cobalt, that they were scared of the way that they played and the way that they prepared for it. And the opening is where this match was won. Cobalt had just an amazing plan at the beginning to take the outside territories of North Grove Post and Araxicom Network Hub, let
Emerald show all the forces that they were going to place on NC Arsenal and then dump everyone in the north to NC Arsenal. And they managed to get NC Arsenal and also at the same time got Crux headquarters. And at the same time, Emerald had been pushing down into the south. They were gaining a lot of territory. It looks really scary for a force commander to see you losing all that territory in the south. But Cobalt knew if they could take those 2 choke points, NC Arsenal and Crux headquarters, it was all uphill for there. I mean, they could do whatever they wanted in the north, and those 2 bases are what allowed them to just throw their entire weight around in the top and middle of this game.
Right, and we're looking here at the map timeline on the stream, and it's clear to see in the first quarter we can see the neutral territory being taken, so that's why both teams are going up in base captures. Then there's kind of a little back and forth between Cobalt and Emerald, but there's roughly at the quarter mark it is perfectly balanced stat wise, and then there is just a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 base train by Cobalt, just dominated 8 bases. But then Emerald, to their credit, takes 4 bases back and stabilizes, and it goes back and forth for about 3 bases right up to the last quarter of the game. And then at that point, rather than Emerald running away with it, because if this was reversed, the balance, Emerald would have won, but Cobalt just stepped up a gear and then took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight base caps. So they had 2 straight 8 base caps, and that's what got them the game, and it was just pure dominance. We'll check some of the other stuff.
Farah, take a look at the VS Warpgate right now. You will get
I'll head over there.
Okay. Lots of lasher fire?
Yeah,
yeah.
A little bit.
So we're checking out the kills. It did kind of slow it down slightly at the end there, but we can see Cobalt was slightly ahead in the kill graph. The leaders, just refresh the page, we can see top leaderboard. We'll just kind of scroll down a bit. You guys can all check those stats out for yourself if you want. Some top outfits, Bad Arrows, Vipers, Red Mist, Goku's 4th. Top weapons, Anchor was top place, Orion was 2nd, SV-88 was 3rd. There's no AV grenades to be seen. Vehicles, the Scythe was clearly on top. And to answer your question, wow, the Candy Cannon almost made a resurgence. It's 11-6. It was 11-2, and now it's 11-6. But still, the Beamer wins. So that's your question for that.
I think the answer to that is nerf Beamer and buff Candy Cannon. I think that's
the
answer.
So let's the stats out of the way. Let's go to our representatives for our post-game interview, because this is going to be interesting. I want to hear how Roy is taking this. Is he on the booze already?
Heading up to interviews.
Hello, guys. How are you all doing? That was an intensive match.
Congratulations to Cobalt on an amazing victory, and well played, Emerald. This whole tournament here. So Cobalt, the first thing I want to ask the Force Commander is, what was your plan in the opening? Because the opening was the biggest thing you did the whole match. To get NC Arsenal and to get Crux headquarters was just such a coup in the very beginning of the game.
So our opening was an out-and-out gambit. We figured we'd we'd focus heavily on the north. We'd sacrifice Tuma's tech plant and effectively the centre, and we would take the 2 bases north and south of NC Arsenal first, because they're both 4 minutes, and then switch everybody to NC Arsenal once we got those through. So we put 5 squads initially on NC Arsenal because that makes it look like there's 48 to 96, and it looks like we're seriously going for it. But then we held it for 2 minutes just to buy more time on the cap, and pulled everybody out of there to ensure the 4-minute bases, and then stuck 3 platoons in there.
So it was all about your force allocation at the beginning, basically waiting to see what they put on a base and knowing that you could bring in extra once they made their hand.
Yeah, so we started the first 2 minutes, we had 4 platoons in the north. After the Araxicon cap, we sent one into the middle to interdict at Raven's Landing because the opportunity was there. It was a big gamble. I mean, the drop on NC Arsenal with no spawns, with them controlling the road, we knew that was a big risk, but we had to
I think you've said this in previous matches, Redolent, the way to get Emerald is get them on the back foot in the opening, get them on the defensive so you're not playing their game. So we took a gamble and it paid off.
Can one of the other admins go? Oh, there he is. He's in chat. Never mind. Go ahead.
And that is one of the main things here that I wanted to ask Emerald. This was the first match that you were behind. How did that immediately change what you were doing? What was your plan in the opening, and how did you immediately have to start reacting to what they were doing?
Sorry, was that to me?
Yes, to Emerald.
Yeah. So the start was a little bit of a mess, and I don't really know what happened. We shouldn't have been interdicted at Raven's Landing because we ran a lot of times on the Scythe versus Reaver to Raven's Landing. We beat them every single time to Raven's Landing with enough time to cap the point. So I don't know what happened there. That was kind of frustrating that they were able to get that interdiction off.
So your intention was to push the middle, or no?
With a platoon. But we kind of screwed up our interdiction there, and Cobalt got the interdiction off on us at Raven's Landing. So that was a bit of it didn't work out the way we planned it. Just mistakes were made. And then in the north, we hit Tumas, or NC Arsenal with two platoons, and we had the platoons there. We solidified that up. We held that for as long as possible, but then the air blob from Cobalt just kind of pushed us off constantly because there's a lot of open air spots there. So there was no good place to put our Sunder, and air just came in and wiped us every single time. So.
And that was actually my next question I was going to ask you, Roy. Air to us seemed to be a major deciding factor in this match. The fact that Cobalt managed to keep theirs up and was just absolutely using it to affect the ground. And while there was moments in the first, say, 30, 45 minutes where you guys were managing to go after them or even use some of your own air against the ground, what happened there? Were you trying to switch people out of the air onto ground to get bases back, or were you just losing the fights in the air and then having to spend resources to get back up there and running out of them?
I honestly have no idea. I was in the middle of talking to air when you guys when you pulled me up, trying to figure out what happened.
Wycliffe say he can speak for our air platoon.
Okay, Wycliffe.
Yeah, we basically were very low on resources after about an hour in. Squad-wise, we didn't fly quite as well as we should have been doing. Keeping coordinated, Cobalt held together very well. And I don't know, I would have to ask them, but the general feeling that we had the entire time, it felt like Cobalt, whether it was their main air force or people helping from the platoon, it felt like we were always outnumbered where we were going. I don't know if you guys had more than 48 people in the air, but they held together very well. Towards the end, it was mostly locks because PPA on the front, and it just turned into a resource game in the last hour. I know a couple times we managed to rally and push them back a little bit, but once you get behind on resources in the air, it's very hard to make that back up without completely giving away air control for 5 to 10 minutes and letting all of your guys try to build everything back up.
Now, Cobalt, where was there a point where you kind of had everything that you wanted? I mean, was there a point where suddenly you were like, well, now
we got that. Wait, okay, what do we do now? I don't know, attack another base? Was there ever that moment?
There were a few. I think getting Crux, we couldn't believe how quickly we got that. And that was what we were aiming for. We figured it might, because we were sacrificing the south, it might end up being a game of chicken where we hit the north, hell for leather, and they hit the south. And it's who backs out and goes on the defensive first. So getting Crux nice and early on, that was a big win for us.
Yeah, there was a couple of those bases where we had over 60% population in the hex, and they still got the base from us. Crux was one of them. McCulloch Cart Mining was one of them. Like, it was a bunch of northern bases that we had population there and just could not take the.
For that, Roy, we did notice that there were instances where, yes, you had 60% population, but Cobalt brought in multiple force multipliers, lots of Sunders, harassers, and their air force just absolutely dominating with that kind of. When a base could be ground attack, on the capture point they used it extensively. It was really, really efficient.
My question
My question to Roy is, one of the big gains that you guys seemed to get in the beginning was the South, and the South seemed to be the place that you were able to push the deepest into. Was that your intention all along, or was that your reaction to, well, we can't get anything in the North, we have to push somewhere, and that's the South?
We actually, that was the only part of our opening that went well. We had originally planned to push hard in the South, grab Tumos, push that southernmost lane, grab Tumos, push up that way, and we managed to pull that off. But for some reason, we weren't able to hold the north. That kind of just fell apart, and then I had to pull people up from the south to go north and help them out, and then our platoons just got fractured. So we were just putting out too many fires in the north, and I couldn't keep up the pressure in the south that I wanted to keep up. But it was really the only spot of the map that actually went well at the start.
Yeah, I really felt that. I was in the south. So well done to you for pushing us back so hard.
So, Cobalt, is there any specific moment in the match that you remember as being particularly hard for you, commanding, or where you had to do, or where you really felt like you were pushed, or that was a real highlight moment you want to talk about?
Well, during the middle of the match, Emerald stabilized a lot, and they really. In the opening, we were able to get them playing our game on our terms, which was fantastic for us. But in the middle, they got it back to the fantastic way that they poke and prod at bases. They move their forces around the map, frankly, better than we do. And we did lose a good few bases in the middle. We were stable, but it started looking a bit rocky. And then towards the end, we were able to get the timers down and start pushing out again and get them on the back foot. But in the middle of the match, they made it very difficult for us by just pushing every single lane. You couldn't leave anything. I had to have my eyes on the entire map all the time. And they did take some bases off us.
And one question I have for Cobalt is, I've observed your the air casting for a little while now, and up until this point, until this match, y'all have been, I would say, kind of sluggish to responding to any sort of close air support requirements that your forces had. But this match, y'all almost made it a point to bombard anything on the ground that you saw. I wanted to know what was what changed? What happened there?
Well, there were two things. I'll let Daika talk. Sorry.
Well, I have only been the air platoon leader for 3 now, so we changed air platoon leader. And compared to the last match I was just sitting in the warp gate, but this match I was sitting at your warp gate. I took a stealth ASF over there at the beginning of the match, so like 3 times when you pulled an airball, I saw the airball before you even left the warp gate.
I had a question for Emerald. I know Roy is in here, and I know the air lead is in here. I don't know if there are any platoon leads in here for Emerald, but I wanted to know if there was one particular fight that stood out to them on the ground as being particularly difficult, or just one highlight moment that they wanted to talk about.
I don't see anyone present.
Okay.
Well, I've got a question. So, for the Cobalt guys, right? Congratulations, you've won. Is there anything the Force Lead or anyone from Cobalt wants to say to your troops now that are watching stream or will see this in VODs? Anything you want to say to all your players?
Well, they did a fantastic job. I mean, above and beyond all expectations. I know they've worked incredibly hard and trained hard, all the outfits involved, and it paid off tonight. We were expecting a very close game that could go either way. And Emerald did put up a hell of a fight, but I think that's the best we've ever played.
And Roy, is there anything you want to say to your troops that played today, or anything else to people in the wider world?
In general, good game, Cobalt. That was one hell of a fight. I was pretty sure that that was going to be one of the closest matches ever, and it definitely was it was the hardest 2 hours of Planetside 2 I've ever played. They did a really good job keeping moving and getting up on us. So they did a great job there. And in general, I guess we'll just beat Briggs next time. Team 2's got that.
All right. Well, congratulations to Cobalt on being the Server Smash Tournament champions for 2014. That is
I apologize from all of us for saying you were the underdogs. You certainly didn't play like it today. So, congratulations, and we look forward to all
Enjoy
of you
your
guys.
after party with fireworks
Yes.
and potentially booze. You will definitely deserve it. And if you can put a little crown above Cobalt on your subreddit, I think a lot of people would like to see that.
It's already been done. It's already
Okay, guys. Right, thanks so much. Commiserations, Emerald. Well played. We look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks. Cobalt, we will see you guys on, I think, December the 13th for the three-way game, which we're about to talk up later. So thanks so much, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you for casting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See you guys.
Right, Redlin. Okay, that was pretty cool.
I am still in shock. I mean, that this would be a close game, that Cobalt had every chance of winning it. Certainly, I would have agreed with anyone who said that Cobalt would dominate the way they did from the very opening of the game. I really don't know that anyone saw that coming.
Oh, you know what?
Had played.
Somebody wants to say something here. I got this recording. I forgot to play this, so a little bit of salting coming here.
After 2 incredible hours of blood and nanites, revenge has been had. Your new battalion class cannon server of the Northern Hemisphere, Cobalt Thunder!
That makes it official. So Punana's declaring the winner there, a little bit kind of late, but there we have it. So, coming up next then, right? Our next game for Server Smash will be Briggs versus Emerald. That'll be on the 22nd of November for the Americans. Americans, mainly because it's Emerald that's playing. That'll be 9 p.m. EST, 6 p.m. PST for the Americans. And for the Australians in Briggs, and other associated islands and New Zealands and whatnot, that will be on Sunday, November the 23rd. It'll be 2 a.m. UTC, which is essentially GMT, and it's 1 p.m. whatever that is, AEST. Do you know what AEST stands for?
Australian Eastern. And
Thank you.
Again, there's so many different time zones that Briggs has to deal with. We put that in UTC as well because not everyone's in Sydney. I'm sure you all have different time zones you have to
right.
change.
But ultimately, this should be time friendly for the participants involved. And then that is our next Server Smash game. So that is in 2 weeks from now on November the 22nd. Following that game, the one after that will be our test demo 3-way Server Smash on Hossen. That'll be Briggs versus Cobalt versus Miller. So basically we're having Briggs play everybody, and we're experimenting with the 3-way. Is it going to be chaotic? Probably. Is it going to be a hellish nightmare to command? Yes. Is it going to be chaotic and fun to watch? Quite possibly. But this will be a little test match because we've never had a 3-way, and essentially Planetside is a 3-way type game. So that will be on Saturday, December the 13th at 12 UTC, and it will still be Saturday, I think, for the Briggs players because that's an EU Australian affair there. So those are the Server Smash games that are coming up. I think you, Redlin, have some things you'd like to talk about, yes?
Well, as we move into the holidays, it gets harder for us to hold Server Smashes, getting everyone there as people are, leaving their normal places that they have computers, going on vacation, going to visit family, things like that. So we are starting up some of our smaller events. Planetside Battles was formed not just to do Server Smash, it was also formed to do these other events. And one of our biggest ones that we're pushing right now is what we're calling Planetside Battles League. And Planetside Battles League is a 12v12 infantry-only format that goes through numerous bases, and it is intended to show the best infantry squad combat that can be out there. There's already a very large, passionate team to be in charge of this. In fact, Passionate Lover from Cobalt is the admin in charge of this for Planetside Battles. And Passionate, if you could say a couple sentences on just what Planetside Battles League is and where people should sign up for it if they're interested.
Yeah, sure. Planetside Battles League is, as you said, infantry-focused competition. It's open to everyone from Europe and North America. We're gonna have 2 ladders, one for in North America and the other for the Europeans. And in those ladders, there's gonna be divisions according to the skill of the teams, because I'm putting quotes on teams because we're not using outfits, meaning that you can bring your friends together and make a team. We're gonna rank those teams in divisions according to their skills, so the beginners won't have to fight the seasoned teams, and they won't get rolled over by those guys, and they will still have fun. Basically, we already have a lot of test matches going around with outfits like full Red Mist, Red October, smaller bases also, because we play on 3-point bases like Hyde Skydock, Matsuda, Genetics on Hosin, and 1-point bases like Nettlemeyer Gardens or Aiken Southern on Hosin. And we're gonna add many more to the map pool so that people have varied experience in terms of
Where can people go to get more information about this or sign up if they're interested?
So you just have to go to the link to planetsidebettle.org, and there you have a drop-down list called PSBL, and you will find the sign-ups for the first season right into that list.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
Thanks so much. And then the last thing I want to mention is there will be another round of public pickups. Wow, someone's firing smoke. Public pickups happened the last twice in the past. It's going to happen again November the 15th. The last one was November the 1st. That is where a little bit similar to Passionate Lovers thing, where basically you turn up and you get to play on Jaeger. Anyone from any server, you put into random teams and you just play against each other, kind of mostly in an infantry fighting. And that is going to happen on November the 15th, i.e. next week. It's on Jaeger, you're given accounts, and you get to play, and it's a lot of fun. I think we had something like 20, 30 people the week before, and then 3 weeks before that. So that's always fun. That is on our Server Smash subreddit if you want to find out details. But again, that is on November the 15th, and it happens starts at 9 o'clock UTC. So that's when that starts, and that's on a Saturday. So if you're interested, go to our Server Smash Reddit and check that out. Is that everything, Marilyn? We done?
The last thing that I just wanted to mention is we are also pursuing vehicle-only gameplay and air-only gameplay as well. We have set up some test matches for vehicle side to have 24 people play with just tanks and Sunders and flashes and things, and we also have people setting up for 12v12 air-only as well. Those are test matches that are coming up. If you want more information about that, again, please go to planetside-battles.org. Create an account, and you can find more information there, or go to our Server Smash, which is our subreddit, and there will be more information posted there, and you can get in touch with the admins who are in charge of those things.
Cool. Alright guys, well thanks very much for watching. Congratulations, Cobalt, and I'm going to show a little bit of bias here, Redlin. EU won! Okay, so I had to just throw that there. Okay, so thanks for watching. Come back, check us out next week if you want to do public pickups, or 2 weeks from now if you want to watch the Server Smash Bricks versus Emerald. See if the Australians can ride undefeated and beat Emerald, or if Emerald can come back with Team 2 and then beat Bricks. We'll look forward to seeing that, and we'll see you in kind of upcoming games. Just check our Server Smash subreddit or check our PlanetSideBattles.org channel. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream today, because I certainly enjoyed casting it. If you want to give us any tips, pointers, or things you wanted to see in the future, do by all means post it on our subreddit. And enjoy the drama, guys. And with that, we say goodnight, and we will see you in a week or two.